It is just about time to kick off preseason week number 2 here in the NFL. We've got the Bengals and Falcons coming for you right here on Fox. I'm done until halftime. I'll see you again then. For now, we'll send it up to the guys who'll call the game for us tonight. Kenny Albert, Daryl Johnston, and Tony Siragusa, better known as Kenny, Moose, and Goose.
Thank you very much, Kurt. He is Moose, in case you were wondering. Great to be here in Atlanta as we begin the 19th season of the NFL on Fox. For our crew, this is year 6, and Daryl, we've even convinced Tony Siragusa to come out of hibernation once again.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Summer vacations are winding down. Kids are back in school or getting ready to start school, so that means the NFL season's right around the corner. And the individual performances last year and the great run by the Giants to the Super Bowl, really excited about what's going to happen in 2012.
And tonight, 2 playoff teams from a season ago. Let's start with the Falcons. For Mike Smith, their head coach, and quarterback Matt Ryan. 4 straight winning seasons, high hopes here in 2012.
Still that continuity between head coach and quarterback, but some changes for Atlanta coming into the season, a new offensive and defensive coordinator. They're hoping that propels them to the next level, as you pointed out. Very consistent during Mike Smith's tenure, 3 out of 4 years in the playoffs, but they haven't been able to take that next step. Very clear what they want to accomplish this year. We're not just talking about getting to the playoffs. We want to make some noise when we get there this year.
Well, the Cincinnati Bengals made it to the playoffs last season as well. Lost to Houston, but how about their rookie quarterback, wide receiver tandem, both Pro Bowlers last year, Andy Dalton, A.J. Green.
Very impressive, especially when you remember back to last year about the lockout. These guys led this offense into the playoffs without a lot of opportunity in the offseason to learn this system. Looking for good things this year. Don't forget, Cincinnati's a top 10 defense. This is a team to watch out for in the AFC North.
Led by Marvin Lewis, entering his 10th season, a contract extension. He's standing by on the field with Goose.
Thanks, Marv. You know, training camps are a lot different than when we were together back in Baltimore, especially with all the collisions and everything. But is this pretty much the games, the best platform to evaluate your talent?
I believe so. The games are so important for the linemen up front to really play against great competition and to see, you know, to execute offense and defense.
Now, who are you going to be taking a strong look at tonight?
Well, we got to take a look to keep our receivers keep developing, our safeties to keep developing, and then the other position is our offensive guards, our interior line.
All right, man. Good luck tonight.
All right. Thank you, Tony.
All right, back to you guys up there.
All right, thanks very much, Tony. A look at Mike Smith, entering his 5th season as Falcons head coach. Marvin Lewis, Mike Smith, and Tony Siragusa all won a Super Bowl together with the 2000 Baltimore Ravens.
A pretty impressive trio down on that field right now. And you hear it from Mike Smith, you hear it from Marvin Lewis, and we've talked to Tony Siragusa about this. The opportunity to have a great season starts with the guys in the locker room, and both of these coaches feel that they've taken that step. They've got great locker rooms, good leadership at the top in each of the position groups. Big expectations for both of these teams coming into 2012.
The Bengals won the toss and deferred. So the Falcons will receive. Mike Nugent will get things started. Quiz Rogers back deep for the Falcons, and we are underway from the Georgia Dome in Atlanta as Rogers takes it out across the 20-yard line to the 21. Vincent Ray made the tackle as Matt Ryan leads the Atlanta Falcons offense out. Last season set a franchise record pass for over 4,000 yards.
You know what, the things that I like about Matt Ryan is he's well aware of what people from the outside think about this team when they get to the playoffs. He shouldered a lot of that burden in the offseason, did a lot of research, tried to figure out what he can do better, how to challenge his team. Tony Gonzalez made a great point to us. Year 5 is when he thinks young quarterbacks take that next step. Well, everybody in the NFC South, this is year 5 for Matt Ryan.
Off the play fake on first down. Ryan dumps it off. And the catch is made by the fullback, Mike Cox, who gains 7 out to the 28-yard line.
One of the common themes that we're going to be talking about during the course of the evening is the offensive line, and that's the area that really is going to be the focus through preseason camp for the Falcons. It's an open competition up front. You can see the skill players at these positions. When you talk about Michael Turner and Julio Jones, Roddy White, Tony Gonzalez, tough to match up with that, but that offensive line has got to give protection and open up running lanes.
On 2nd and 3, Turner is stuffed by Geno Atkins. A loss of, 4 yards on the play.
Geno Atkins does a nice job of getting penetration on that one, Moose. Go ahead, go on him.
Yeah, that's one of the guys that's going to be key for this Bengals defense. And we talked to Domata Peko, and he said that the key is going to be that defensive line, and nothing but high praise for Geno Atkins.
Ryan out of the shotgun on 3rd and 6. Moving to his left. There is a penalty flag as the catch is made for a first down by Tony Gonzalez, the 16-year veteran. Robert Dalton, our referee tonight. Crew of replacement officials here in Atlanta.
Holding, defense number 29. That penalty is declined. The result of the play, first down.
Going to be Leon Hall, and one of the areas that Cincinnati is going to be looking at is their secondary. Well, they're going to get a lot of work tonight. They've got some guys banged up. We got a lot of guys out of the lineup, and the corners and the safeties that are in the game tonight are going to have their hands full with Atlanta's skill set on the outside.
Here's Turner up the middle following the 21-yard completion to Gonzalez. Michael Turner, who has led the NFL in carries 2 of the last 4 seasons, rushed for over 1,300 yards last year.
And I think he's a key to this offense getting on track and staying consistent all year. A lot of talk about reducing his carries and keeping him fresh, but I think he's one of those backs that gets stronger during the course of the game, stronger during the course of the season when he gets touches.
Play action on 2nd and 8. This is Turner out of the backfield into Bengals territory. Manny Lawson came up to make the tackle along with Leon Hall. Gain of 5.
And when you've got a strong running game, the play action is going to be a big weapon in your offense. And Matt Ryan, again, good decision there. He's looking downfield. There's nobody there, so check it down to your back. Understand where your escape is on the play action.
Empty backfield for the Falcons on 3rd down and 3. 5'6", Jaquiz Rogers in the slot. And Ryan's pass is caught by Gonzalez, but not enough for a first down.
Guy's amazing, Tony. In this stage of his career, still to be playing and putting up the numbers that he is.
Now, taking a look at Matt Ryan also getting the ball off. I'll tell you what, that Bengals defensive line is really doing a good job of pressuring with 4 guys. If you can do that in this league, you're going to be successful. That guy right there is a hard guy to stop.
Well, the fans here in Atlanta, they want the Atlanta Falcons to go for it. And you know what? Week 2 of the preseason, this is an area that they have really struggled in over the last couple of seasons. A good opportunity right here with the limited contact and the things that go on during preseason now. It's a good chance for them to have got some work in a critical situation.
And remember, Mike Smith did go for it on 4th down last year against the Saints. Did not work out. Bosher's punt to the 20-yard line, a fair catch by Hawkins. Andy Dalton and the Bengals offense when we return. Dome in downtown Atlanta, early first quarter. Defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer. Cincinnati Bengals 9-7 last season. Beat the Jets in their first preseason game last Friday, 17-6. So now the Bengals offense will go to work from their own 19-yard line. Andy Dalton went to the Pro Bowl as a rookie last season, threw for just under 3,400 yards and 20 touchdowns. Dalton moving to his right, under pressure on 1st down, and he takes it out of bounds at the line of scrimmage, chased out by Ray Edwards.
Good fundamentals by Andy Dalton, because when this play breaks down, watch the ball security. He's not running with the ball loose. It breaks down, 2 hands on it right there. Escapes to the outside. Anytime he feels pressure, he's going to get that ball tucked away. You have to prevent the turnover. That's very, very impressive for a young guy. Jake Gruden, the offensive coordinator, just had great things to say about Andy Dalton as a rookie coming into the NFL.
And yes, Jay is the younger brother of John Gruden. Second season as Bengals offensive coordinator. Play clock winding down, 2nd and 10. Dalton to the outside to A.J. Green, the 2nd-year receiver out of Georgia, who led all NFL rookies with 65 receptions A year ago, the Bengals without their left guard, Travell Wharton, for the season.
And that was a focal point coming into the preseason, Goose. So this offensive line, they're going to have their hands full against this Atlanta defensive front. You'll have to keep your eye on those guards down there.
Ryan Leonard getting the start in the absence of both BenJarvus Green Ellis, the former Patriot. High hopes for Green Ellis in Cincinnati, and the second string running back, Bernard Scott, out as well. Third down and 1. Dalton rolling right, directing traffic, can't find anyone, and then throws it away. And a late flag. Pressure from Parade Jarry and Jonathan Babineau.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, 94 of the defense. 10-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
That's Parade Jarry, the former first-round draft pick out of Mississippi.
I think it's the follow-through, Tony.
He's got to let him go right there. He knew the ball was released. They did a good job of going and keeping the pressure with the slide protection up front, but that's just not good. You don't finish off a quarterback like that. You know, all the eyes. You see the official right there, number 22, looking right at him. That's his job. Robert Dalton to protect the quarterback, and flags are going to be flying when you finish a quarterback off like that after you release the ball.
You finished a quarterback or two back in your day, Goose.
Well, that's when the rules weren't as tough as they are now, Kenny.
That's for sure. So a new set of downs for the Bengals following the penalty. First and 10 from the 41-yard line. This is Brian Leonard up the middle. First down and more, and he loses the football. Looks like it was recovered by Thomas Deku of the Falcons. It was.
Looks like William Moore went and stripped that ball out. Great job getting a hand and getting it out.
Now, one of the new rules in the NFL this year, like last year, every scoring play is going to be checked by the replay official to be confirmed. Changes of possession are that same way this year.
There's William Moore going and punching that ball out. Great job by him.
Brian Leonard a little bit loose with the ball security here. He's eyeing William Moore, but you can see he's kind of straight up. That ball comes off the body. When you're going through the contact zone, you got to squeeze it tight. Pretty good punch by William Moore there, Goose.
Yeah, really good punch. And Brent Grimes was right behind him. He's got to go and cover that ball with his body, lean over and accept the yardage that he got, and not try to go for the big play.
And again, as Darryl mentioned, most change of possessions are automatically reviewed. No doubt about it on that one. So the Falcons go back to work. They set up a screen. They have not been a big screen team the last couple of years. We talked about that with Matt Ryan on Tuesday, and Michael Turner picks up 8.
And it's one of those strange things, and this stadium is going to get excited every time they see a screen pass, but you have to let the fans out there know it's not an easy play to run. I know it looks easy right here, but you have to rep this over and over and over again. The timing between the offensive line, the running back, is it a zone defense, is it man-to-man, because there's different approaches as you release to be the screen guy. So it's going to take them some time, but it's a play they've added, and the players and the fans are excited down here in Atlanta.
Ryan Perfect, 5 of 5. Hands it off to Turner, and he's hit behind the line by Pecco. So the Falcons now facing a third down and a little less than 3.
Hey, Michael Turner's just a workhorse, isn't he?
Yeah, and I understand, some of the concern, Tony, about reducing his carries, but, we talked about it during the course of the weekend. He's a guy you got to lean on a little bit. You've got Dirk Cutter as your new offensive coordinator. He comes in from Jacksonville. They had Maurice Jones-Drew, so he's used to having a workhorse in the backfield.
And Cutter told us that they have similar styles, Maurice Jones-Drew and Michael Turner. Ryan way back at his own 40-yard line, complete to Rodgers, but he is met immediately by Reggie Nelson. Loss of 7.
Yeah, Atlanta didn't really go to recognize that they were coming with more than 4 guys right here. They brought 6. There's a little pick right there by the linebacker. Matt's just backpedaling. He's got to just get rid of that ball. Tell you what, we're seeing a lot of A lot of pressure from the Bengals, huh, Darryl?
This is a good defense, Tony.
Yeah,
they really have not a lot of big names on it, but this is a very, very sound, aggressive defense.
They were ranked 7th in the league last season. Bosher punting for the second time. Hawkins back deep for the Bengals. End-over-end kick. And a fair catch called for at the 12-yard line. Back in Atlanta, Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, and there he is, Tony Siragusa, checking out some of his new technology as we introduce Goose Cam this season.
Yeah, this says experimental, though. I don't know if I like you guys watching me the whole time, but it is cool. Right on my setup right here, I have the game, I have different camera angles, I got all my information, I got my telestrator right here. I can go and draw and make little smiley faces and stuff. I mean, it's I got all the bells and whistles there, Darryl.
I tell you what, Goose, I thought your budget ran out, and it looks like over on that right side arm there was a bag of peanut M&Ms. Did I spy some peanut M&Ms on that right arm?
What are you talking about?
Look, can we pan back out?
What are you talking
Goose, we have our eyes on you at all times.
I know, I'm scared about that. That makes me nervous.
You can turn around now. Your back's to the field. There is a game taking place. Second possession for the Bengals. They start from their own 12-yard line. This is Leonard, who coughed it up on his last carry. And remember, Ben Jarvis Green Ellis, who came over from New England in his first 4 seasons with the Patriots, 536 touches for Green Ellis. He has never fumbled.
How'd you like to be able to say that?
That's amazing.
In my NFL career, I have never fumbled. And the other thing he does is he's very effective in the red zone. You take a look at him right there. Since 2010, only Arian Foster with more rushing touchdowns, and a lot of those coming in the red zone. The areas that Cincinnati struggled with last season, he is very, very good at all those facets.
Dalton going deep on 2nd and 7. That pass intended for A.J. Green. The coverage from one of the newest Falcons, the 4-time Pro Bowler and another ex-Patriot and Eagle as well, Asante Samuel.
And it's amazing the chemistry that Andy Dalton and A.J. Green have developed, and the confidence. This is a jump ball situation. I've got a lot of trust in my wide receiver out there, even against Asante Samuel. I'm going to throw it up and give him a chance to make a play.
Yeah, that ball was underthrown. Andy Dalton had a little bit of pressure on him. If he would have let A.J. Green a little bit more, I think he would have went all the way.
Third down and 7. Bengals must get to the 22. And they do as the catch is made for a first down and more by Jermaine Gresham. And he's finally pulled down after a long gain of 25 yards by Brent Grimes.
Looked like his foot got stuck in that turf there right at the end of the run.
I think you're right, Tony, because he's breaking away. He's about to have a big run, and he looked like he fell a little bit awkwardly right here on the tackle. Kind of like hyperextended that knee. He went to pull out.
Exactly.
From the 41 on first down, the toss to Leonard. Tries to turn the corner, but is down back at the 39-yard line for a loss of 2. Dante Robinson made the tackle.
Well, the tight end position is being revolutionized in the NFL, and this is one of the guys that we can expect to take part in that. This is a big guy, and you see the athleticism. The spin right there, he's getting ready to break away. Very, very good in the open field for a big target.
First round pick out of Oklahoma back in 2010. Second down and 12. Dalton steps up and is down. There is a flag. Jonathan Babineau brings down Andy Dalton at the 40-yard line.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 95. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Yeah, that's a shame because Jonathan Babineau does a great job of getting some pressure up front and then retracing his steps. When he turns, he's locked up right now. When he turns, I don't know where the face mask is.
It's not on the face mask, Tony.
Yeah, he grabs all jersey. That's a clean tackle right there. They missed that call.
It's the second personal foul called on the Falcons here in the first quarter. From the 46, here's Leonard. Brian Leonard gains 3. Down to the 43-yard line as we take one more look at what was called a face mask. Domino reaches. And Dalton goes down.
Looks like he has just a handful of jersey and grabs him down. You know, as a defensive lineman, when you're in there, sometimes that's all you get is a little bit of jersey. And I thought that was a clean tackle.
And there's no horse collar, Tony, when it comes from the front either.
Play fake on 2nd and 7. This is Donald Lee, the backup tight end, former Green Bay Packer. And Lee's down at the 37, about a yard shy of the marker.
And I think Donald Lee is going to be a nice addition to the Cincinnati Bengals offense to complement Jermaine Gresham. We see a lot of teams in the NFL right now trying to get into those 2 tight end formation personnel groups to challenge defenses with your personnel. How are you going to match us? How are you going to play this group? You'll see a lot of teams start the game. Are they going to go nickel? Are they going to stay regular people and play it that way? So Donald Lee and Jermaine Gresham could be a nice combination for the Cincinnati Bengals this year at the tight end spot.
3rd down and 1 for the Bengals. Leonard. And he is stuffed, and then with the second effort, it will depend on the spot.
Looks like they're going to give it to him. He did a good job of falling forward, protecting that ball a lot better than he was on that first fumble there, Darryl.
You know what? The other thing, Tony, you mentioned falling forward, but keeping your legs moving on short yardage and goal line. You're going to get hit sometimes, and everything's going to get stuffed up. Right there, everything's stuffed up. If you stop your feet from moving right there, you're going to get thrown for a loss. Brian Leonard did a nice job of keeping those feet moving, pushing the pile, and that gave him the opportunity to fall forward.
6th season out of Rutgers, broke into the NFL with the St. Louis Rams. Leonard picked up the first down. From the Falcons 36, off the fake to Leonard. Dalton under pressure, and he throws it away. Pressured by a pair of Falcon linebackers, the veteran Mike Peterson, along with Stephen Nicholas.
There's Jermaine Gresham still on the sideline, and we watched a little bit awkward on the tackle right at the very end. His leg got kind of stuck as he tried to extend down, so he's still not back on the field. Got that helmet off. Watch right there. You kind of see how it kind of gets out away from his body and kind of goes completely straight, Tony. Looks like he might have hyperextended it a little bit.
Yeah, he's walking on it, though, but you know what? Sometimes your adrenaline's going and you don't realize that I'm hurt a little bit more than I think I am, so I think they're going to take a little precaution and rest him.
56 receptions for Gresham last season. 10th play of this drive for the Bengals, as Leonard tries to bounce it to the outside, and then he's tackled from behind by Parade Jerry.
Some big bodies inside, moving well down the line of scrimmage, both sides of the ball. We talked about the long looks at the offensive line, both for the Falcons and for the Bengals. And they're going to have some challenges tonight. These teams both have good, solid players on the inside.
2.5 remaining. First quarter, no score in Atlanta. 3rd down and 10 from the Falcons 36. Empty backfield for the Bengals. Dalton fires downfield for A.J. Green, and he did not come down in bounds.
A.J. Green, 18 on the outside, goes to the middle of the field. Some confusion in the coverage right there. Brent Grimes and William Moore kind of looking at each other. Hey, who's got the guy that's going deep? They're both got eye contact on each other, but A.J. Green goes right between them and gets behind him. Fortunate for the Falcons, they ran out of real estate.
So here's Mike Nugent, a 54-yard attempt, which would match his career high during the regular season from the right hash. Nugent from 54 yards out has the distance. It is good. So the Bengals strike first here in Atlanta. 3-0 Cincinnati. Bengals tight end Jermaine Gresham, right knee injury, will not return to the game tonight. Last week against the Jets, Carlos Dunlap, Ray Malalaga, Taylor Mays, and Travell Wharton, unfortunately for the Bengals, out for the season. They all suffered injuries last week.
Yeah, Travell Wharton, the first free agent that Cincinnati signed in the offseason, hoping to be their starting left guard, the position that they were trying to kind of strengthen up here in the preseason. And Tony, it was one of Marvin Lewis's big concerns, and he's worried about the health of his players.
Number one priority.
Without a doubt.
Number one priority is staying healthy, getting to that opening game healthy as you could be with all your starters and your main guards.
Short kickoff by Thomas Weber. Quiz Rogers spins across the 30, out to the 35-yard line. Remember, the Falcons lost their Pro Bowl returner from 2 seasons ago, Eric Weems. Rogers looks good there.
Mentioned Matt Ryan, you know, kind of shouldering a lot of the burden of their playoff success in the offseason, wanting to do whatever he could to get better. One of the guys he talked to, Asante Samuel, who he's played against throughout his career. And let me tell you, you can get some great information from people you've played against, people on the other side of the football. And Asante Samuel had some great tips for Matt Ryan. And I'll go back to Mark Tuinei, who is just a rock for us at left tackle during our run in Dallas. And he made the Pro Bowl late in his career. And I asked him, you know, how come so long before you made the Pro Bowl? And he said, well, there were great tackles in the NFC at that time, you know, Jim Lachey and Jumbo Elliott and Jim Covert. But when Charles Haley came to the Dallas Cowboys, Charles Haley gave Mark Tuinei so many tips, and it elevated his play at left tackle and became a Pro Bowler for 2 years near the end of his career.
You got to make sure you're going to be there for a while. You're not going to another team if you're going to give away all your secrets too, Darryl.
Ryan to Michael Turner for a gain of 1. And we're out at Falcons practice Tuesday, and when the players are moving from one field to another, Ryan and Samuel were walking together, talking, and Samuel also brings a lot of energy to the practice field and the meeting rooms.
He really does, and those things are invaluable, especially during preseason camp. And, you know, it's a grind, and it's different today than when Tony and I played, but it's still a grind. And when you have a guy like Asante who's always chattering, and it's, you know, he's kind of upbeat, and there's days when you don't want to be on the practice field, and he'll crack a joke and do something to help you get through the afternoon practice.
Ryan slides to the 39-yard line. He picks up 4. 7 of 7 so far tonight. Last week in the Falcons preseason opener against the Ravens, the first-team offense scored 2 touchdowns on 4 possessions before they were pulled.
You know, we talk a lot about the specialists, the wide receivers, Darryl, the quarterbacks, but I'll tell you what. If these guys right here don't get it done for Matt Ryan, you're going to have a long season. Right now, that Cincinnati Bengals defensive line, look at the pressure that they're bringing.
On 3rd and 5, it is Roddy White, who has been to the Pro Bowl each of the last 4 seasons. He finished second in the league last year to Wes Welker with 100 receptions, and White picks up the Falcons' first down.
Just to get back and follow up with Tony, you know, this is a team, Tony. I mean, it was said before camp started. It's an open competition for those 5 spots up front. Maybe Todd McClure is secure at center, but they drafted Peter Kahns. They drafted Lamar Holmes. You know, this is an area that they are trying to upgrade.
Yeah, they need to go and play together a little bit more. It seems like they're not really cohesive right now.
There is a flag. Pass was intended for Julio Jones. Terrence Newman, the longtime Cowboy, made contact.
Julio Jones might have got Terrence Newman with a double move on the outside.
Pass interference, defense number 23, spot on the foul, automatic first down.
And Newman's had a terrific camp back with Mike Zimmer, his former defensive coordinator with the Cowboys.
I don't know, that was a pretty good scuffle right there. I think Julio got the best of him. Grabbed and threw him down there a little bit.
Yeah, no double move there. That's just a big physical guy on the outside. And Terrence Newman, he's been in the league for a while, but there's a new style of wide receiver that's entered this game. When you got 6'4", 235-pound guys that run 4.3.
You got to do whatever you can to slow that man down.
So a new set of downs for the Falcons on 1st and 10 from midfield. Ryan complete for another first down to Roddy White to the Bengals 26-yard line. A 24-yard pass play as this first quarter comes to an end in Atlanta with the Falcons on the move. A 54-yard Mike Nugent field goal accounted for the only scoring. This Fox NFL preseason special will return after these messages. Back in Atlanta, Kenny Albert, Daryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa, Kurt Menefee, Mike Pereira, our NFL rules analyst, here with us as well. A look at Bengals defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer as the Falcons have possession of the football. It will be 1st and 10 from the Bengals 26.
Mike Zimmer always has a tough defense. Every place he's been, Dallas, he was here in Atlanta back in '07, then up to Cincinnati. Everywhere he's been, he's had a tough defense.
Two tight end set. Ryan 9 for 9 in the first quarter. Makes it 10 for 10. Tony Gonzalez takes it down to the Cincinnati 5-yard line. It's his 16th season. He's been to 12 Pro Bowls. He told us Tuesday, we asked him if this will be it. He said 95% sure.
It'll be a sad day when he leaves the game. We've had some great players leave the game over the last few years, and Tony Gonzalez could be the next one. And he puts a great argument up there for one of the, if not the greatest tight ends to play the game.
Only Jerry Rice has caught more passes in the history of the National Football League than Tony Gonzalez. Here's Julio Jones down to the 2-yard line. Nice tackle made by Terrence Newman.
Yeah, Terrence Newman does a nice job of recognizing that. Little quick look out there to Julio. Big man. Tell you what, Matt Ryan is looks like he's settling down a little bit there, Dow. Looks like his offensive line's giving him a little more time in the pocket. He's finding his receivers downfield last 3 plays.
Well, it's been a good mix. We've seen some screens. There's been some short passes mixed in. When they've gone deep, they've max protected, giving Matt Ryan the confidence and the time in the pocket to throw it.
2nd and goal from the 2. Ryan with the shovel pass, and that's his first incompletion.
Matt Ryan was looking for Michael Turner, but defensive guy's got his hands, tipped that ball. Taylor Mays looks like. He's lucky because if Michael Turner gets that ball, he turns around, he's gonna be rolling a little bit.
And Michael Johnson got a piece of it now. 3rd and goal. 3 wide receivers set. Ryan, end zone incomplete off the hands of Gonzalez.
Red zone offense is so tough. You kind of get behind the 8 ball and all of a sudden you start passing, and you know it really goes to the advantage of the defense down here. Not because it's a shorter space that they have to cover, but they can disguise so much better down in the red zone than they can out in the field. And you know, it's almost every team you hear talking in preseason camp, what are some things you got to improve on getting ready for the 2012 season? You know, our red zone offense, we got to get better there.
So now Matt Ryan from the right hash, 20-yard attempt is good. So after Matt Ryan started the game 11 for 11, 2 incompletions, and the Falcons tie it at 3. Cardinals and the Pirates. Fox Saturday Baseball returns this week at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. Check local listings for the game and start time in your area. Look at Turner Field. Deuce, you had a chance to check out the Braves last night. It's Chipper Jones bobblehead night tonight in Atlanta. How was the ball game?
I'll tell you what, I had a great time. Great seats. You know, it was fun. It was fun. I haven't got a chance to make a lot of baseball games, but a couple home runs by the guys. Nice. They got good food there too. Unbelievable.
And what's the favorite? They got Dodger dogs out in LA. You got the you know, you go down to Baltimore. You got the crab cakes.
They had like a rigatoni with some sausage and broccoli rabe, which I was surprised at. Good.
Leave it to Tony to find the rigatoni at the ballpark.
Exactly.
It was good.
Bengals will start from their own 20-yard line. Their best starting field position today as we welcome in our NFL rules analyst, our officiating guru, Mike Pereira, with us here in Atlanta. And Mike, of course, one of the big stories over the last couple of weeks, the officials are locked out, so the replacement officials working for the second straight week here in preseason, and a number of rule changes and points of emphasis in the NFL this year as well. So after this play, we'll tee it up for you as Dalton throws, and that pass is broken up by Dante Robinson and then caught out of bounds by Armand Binns.
Yeah, Kenny, it's good to be with a crew that has a moose and a goose in it. That's for sure. But interesting for me to watch, you know, this whole thing about the replacement officials and the lockout with the regular officials. And you know, this game's really difficult to officiate. And when you watch it here and you look at administratively some of the things that have happened tonight too, you realize that just how difficult it really is.
Now 2nd and 10 from the 20-yard line as the pass is caught, and then a big hit is laid on Andrew Hawkins by Dante Robinson.
You know, I think that's one of the interesting things when you talk to us at seminar, and you know, as we've been getting ready for this game during the course of the week, it's not so much the subjective calls, because that's hard. You know, even the regular officials sometimes we might not agree with what they saw. You're more worried about the administration of the penalty afterward.
Well, listen, the regular guys are going to miss face masks and miss horse collars from time to time. That's going to happen. What you have to be, to me, more concerned about is, even when you look at it here, are the administrative things, even some of the things that have happened tonight in terms of spots and a roughing the passer penalty that was only enforced 13 yards. You know, this is just, it's a complicated game.
Donald Lee picks up a first down, so a couple of administrative issues that you caught in the first quarter.
Sure, but that's to be expected, because you know these guys are competent at their level, but this is the NFL. This is a completely different set of rules and very difficult to master, and although they will improve as it goes on, they're never going to get to the position, even when we get into the regular season, if it goes that far, that they'll be able to master all the administrative things that the regular guys really have perfected.
This is Cedric Pearman, and he's hit for a loss of a yard by John Abraham.
And we forget about what the players say when they come from college to the NFL. One of their big adjustments is speed of the game.
Yeah.
So it's the exact same thing for the replacement officials coming to this level. It's going to be the speed of the game.
And I went through this in 2001, you know, when we had the last lockout with the officials, and I actually had to work on the field because I was management, and I worked with the guys that we brought in. More guys from the Division I college level, the BCS level, guys that they don't necessarily have access to now. And everybody was just amazed at the speed of this game. It's far different than anything that they've seen before.
This is Pearman on 2nd and 11, loses the football, and it rolls out of bounds.
Well, you know, you've got an opportunity when you've got a guy like Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis out of the lineup, Cedric Pearman, Brian Leonard. They have an opportunity to catch the coach's eyes, and there's another fumble and not a big hit on the ball. So again, we talked about Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis coming to Cincinnati, and one of the best things he does is protect the football, and we've had 2 on the ground by the running backs that are taking his snaps.
You know, they just had that forward fumble out of bounds, and they picked that up, which is a good job to pick that up, because it is a rule that's different, you know, in some respects in college. Of course, the clock needs to be rewound, which it didn't get rewound. There it goes. Now they're going to crank it up. But I feel bad for these guys, and I think they're doing a pretty credible job for, you know, the level they're used to working at.
2nd down and 6. Dalton's pass is caught for a first down by Brandon Tate at the Falcons' 45-yard line. Tate, a Patriot 2 seasons ago, caught 24 balls, but last year used primarily on special teams by the Bengals. Well,
let's not talk about this wide receiver group as, you know, we're fighting for the number 2 spot. They've got some good choices, whether it's Brandon Tate, Armand Binns. This is a group that's pretty strong, you know, as you go through that first 5 or 6. And I watched them in pregame, went out and kind of sat there and watched the quarterbacks throw to the wide receiver group of the Bengals. I was very impressed with the group as they were warming up pregame.
Dalton off the play fake, fires downfield, and that pass is a bit high. He was looking for the tight end, Colin Koshart.
I'll tell you what, John Abraham has been getting pressure all night. Watch him here at the bottom of your screen on the outside. Does a nice job of dipping his shoulder, but he just can't hold on right there to Andy Dalton.
Here's Abraham in his 13th season, the former Jet. 7th year here in Atlanta. 2nd and 10 from the Falcons 45.
Here you go, Mike. This will be one of your good ones to see how they administrate this penalty.
Well, the back moved, and then
the back is allowed to move. He can reset.
Yeah.
What do you think, Mike?
It's a false start on the back.
Come on. It was not a sudden move.
Oh, I think it was.
Way to go, Mike. Good call.
That's Chris Presley.
That's a false start, right, Mike?
That's a false start. I think the Goose would have called that one a false start.
False start on the offense, number 36. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
See, now, what Chris Presley has to realize right there is just take a step, right, and reset yourself, Mike. Don't turn the whole body. You gotta fudge it a little bit. Give him something to think about.
Well, you know, really they have tightened up on false starts this year. It's one of the points of emphasis. You know, the old Peyton Manning thrust the hands forward, take the giant step, and Saturday being there, he'd jerk his head up. You know, they're going to limit that now. That's a false start. So quarterbacks over the last few years have gotten away with murder in the shotgun position. And that's a point of emphasis that they will work on this year, and they will become false starts.
So no more of those fake snaps, head jerk, shoulder jerk. What are some of the other points of emphasis that you will be keeping a close eye on this season?
Well, you know, I mean, player safety remains a big point of emphasis. They added a 9th defenseless player, and that is a player who gets crackback blocked. I mean, you could only hit him above the waist before. Now you can't hit him with the forearm or the shoulder or the helmet to the head or neck area. They'll continue to look at that and really concentrate on that. The other thing is offensive holding is always a point of emphasis, and they're not necessarily looking for more. They're looking for more consistency in the call, and they think they've made steps with putting the umpire in the offensive backfield, but they'll continue to make that a point of emphasis.
3rd down and 15. Bengals must get to the Atlanta 35. Dalton fires downfield, and the catch is made by A.J. Green, and he takes it in for a Bengals touchdown. 55 yards from Dalton to Green.
The placement of the throw by Andy Dalton is excellent. I mean, this ball is let go, little stutter and go. Asante sits on it, but he's got to react to the speed of A.J. Green, and the placement by Andy Dalton is excellent. I mean, he's got him in stride behind Asante Samuel.
Yeah, it looked like Asante Samuel was trying to sit, looking for that short pass, something he might be able to pick off, but wasn't the case.
Last season, Dalton and Green, the first rookie quarterback wide receiver tandem from the same team to both make it to the Pro Bowl. In the history of the NFL, Thomas Weber, the extra point. Bengals lead 10-3. Back in Atlanta, week number 2 in the NFL preseason. Andy Dalton connected with A.J. Green for 7 touchdowns last season. They do it here in the 2nd quarter, giving the Bengals the lead.
Right on cue for you, Mr. Pereira. They're in the shotgun.
There you go. What can you do as a quarterback? They're going to let you do that in shotgun. What they're not going to let you do is take the giant step that goes along with that and the actual thrusting of the hands forward. But that flinch here is going to be considered okay.
Once he does that, the ball has to be snapped to him.
Ball has to be snapped directly to him at that point. It can't be used as a silent count, which they were using some of that step forward, that type of thing. It's got to be snapped if you make that very abrupt movement.
So a thrust, no. A flinch, yes.
Yeah. Flinch is not a problem like that. Then he's got that liberty. But you just can't take that, which we saw so many quarterbacks actually begin to do, that huge step and then the thrust of the hands forward.
Early 2nd quarter here in Atlanta. Bengals lead 10-3. Weber's kickoff is taken 5 yards deep by Quiz Rogers. Should have stayed in the end zone. Down at the 13. One more look. The second-year receiver out of Georgia, returning home. Welcome back. Falcons will start from their own 12-yard line. Most of their offensive starters still on the field. Mike Smith told us they would probably play until the middle of the second quarter tonight.
More of a pitch count, Kenny, right? Not necessarily time, but 20 to 25 plays. Matt Ryan might leave a little bit earlier if they have a little bit of a nice drive here, and maybe leave some of those starting offensive linemen in.
Fourth series for the Falcons offense. 2 punts and a field goal. This is Jaquiz Rogers out across the 16-yard line for a gain of 4. So Michael Turner is out. Jason Snelling not in uniform due to a right leg injury. So it is the 5'6" Rogers. And Goose, you talked about Rogers last year. You said you hated playing against guys like that because you couldn't find them.
I'll tell you what, they're just so small. When you get those big offensive linemen like Atlanta has right now, those guys, especially on the zone blocking, like on the last play, you lose them. All of a sudden you find yourself looking in the backfield trying to find out where he is. Give your chest up to that offensive lineman. Next thing you know, you're driving and you're turning into a pancake. So, yeah, those short running backs gave me a little bit of problems.
Second down and 6. Ronnie White picks up a Falcons first down. Reggie Nelson made the tackle. White out to the 25-yard line, gain of 9.
Reggie Nelson hustling on that one, Goose, because he was the guy that was coming up from the secondary on the blitz, and you always talk about the D lineman retracing. You got a safety retracing, getting back downfield for a tackle.
Yeah, did a nice job. And Tyson Claybo, I'll tell you what, that guy is no small guy. He got out there and set up one of the blocks.
Claybo, a Pro Bowler 2 seasons ago, off the fake pitch to Rogers. Bryant complete to a wide open Michael Palmer. And the backup tight end out of Clemson picks up another Falcons first down, a gain of 20 to the 45-yard line.
I like the play design on a lot of the bootlegs that we've seen from Atlanta. They've had big plays down the field. This is the intermediate level. You're going to get tiers. So you've got Harry Douglas in the shallow there, 83. Here comes Michael Palmer, number 81. He's your intermediate, and you had Roddy White deep down the field. So they're taking that half of the field, and they're putting tiers in. So you've got somebody in the flat, somebody in the mid-level, and then somebody deep. They've already hit the deep throw. Now they come back and get Michael Palmer on that intermediate throw.
And all that action in the backfield really slows those defensive linemen down. You saw like a zone blocking up front, and then Ryan going one way, turning back the other way. Now all of a sudden you have these defensive linemen going lateral instead of coming up the field, and gives the quarterback more time to go and find his receivers.
Bengals already without their starting middle linebacker, Maualaga. That is the rookie out of Arizona State, Fontez. Perfect. Shake it up. Fontez perfect. The injured Bengal having a real good camp. Rookie free agent out of Arizona State.
Yeah, and we talk about see what you hit, and this goes for Taylor Mays. It's not just for you, it's for your teammates too. I mean, this is his own teammate that's delivering the big hit on Vontaze Burfict, and it's a shame because here's a guy, and is a free agent coming into camp. You've got to grab the coach's attention right away. He's done that. He's got the coach's eye, and unfortunately, he's on the sideline right now.
Empty backfield. Pass is caught by Harry Douglas, but he loses the yard. Roderick McElroy along with Jeremy Miles in on the tackle, getting back to Burfict. He had an interception last week of a fellow by the name of Tim Tebow. Have you heard of him?
I have not. Not the entire offseason. I have not heard that name.
Well, that's because you don't live in New Jersey or New York now. On the cover of all of or anywhere else in the United States
or the world. Burfict with that pick of Tebow last week. He was excited about it.
You know, Kenny, when you get to the Jersey Shore like Moose has been, it's tough. You know, all you worry about is the sand a little bit.
That's right. Nice catch. Julio Jones. First down to the Bengals, 41.
You think about Julio Jones after the catch with speed. He shows you a little bit of power here. Great balance. He is
great
a big
concentration too, man. Look at him concentrate on that ball, get it into his body, then cover it up. You know those DBs back there, they're going to punch that ball out so he doesn't get that catch.
He's 15 pounds away from being a tight end, Goose.
I think 5 pounds from being a tight end.
A.J. Green and Julio Jones, top 2 wide receivers picked in last year's draft, both out of the SEC. Green with a touchdown reception today, and now it is off the fingertips of Jones.
I like the throw by Matt Ryan, though. One of the criticisms of Matt Ryan as this offense tries to evolve into an explosive group is, you know, how well is he going to throw the deep ball? Good release off the line of scrimmage. He's got it right there. Puts it in a nice spot for Julio Jones to finish that play.
Offensive line also giving Matt enough time and look downfield. They're getting better as the game goes on.
Second down and 10. 3 wide receivers. Douglas in the slot. Ryan to White. And Ronnie White picks up another Falcons first down. Tries to spin away from Terrence Newman, who makes the tackle, but not before White picks up 16 yards.
Well, I think I have to agree with Tony Gonzalez's assessment of Matt Ryan. There's something different about him entering year 5. You know, maybe that is the timeline for young quarterbacks coming into the NFL. They have success those first 4 years, and we've seen it from a lot of young guys coming to the NFL, but maybe it is year 5 that everything clicks, because Matt Ryan's playing really well tonight.
Complete to Julio Jones, to the Bengals 2. Well, Tony Gonzalez told us this offense with Matt, the sky is the limit. And you look at all the stars at the various skill positions. Matt Ryan, terrific regular season record, 0-3 in the postseason as the Falcons look to advance further than they have under Mike Smith.
If they're going to do that, they got to get better here in the red zone. Last time they got down here, Tony, 3 straight passing plays. Looks like they got some big guys in there this time.
On first and goal, Ryan throws, and it is a touchdown. Lusaka Polite, the veteran fullback, spent last season with the New England Patriots, just signed this past week by the Falcons, and Polite reaches the end zone.
You put in the big goal line personnel group, and now...
Yeah, I think he's a little bit short. They even fooled Julio down. They brought all those big guys in.
Yeah.
Full back, everything like that, and still went finesse with the little pass right here. But I don't think that ball crosses the line. Looks like his elbow hits the ground, and that ball still hasn't crossed the plane of the end zone.
Well, it was ruled a touchdown on the field, which means for the second consecutive season it will get automatically reviewed. Mike Pereira, what do you think?
Well, you got to take a look at when was he first touched, because that's what's going to put him down. So just because the arm hits first and the ball is short, they're going to have to look to see when the actual defender first touched him, because that's what will put him down.
What about the knee?
Well, but again, he's not down by contact at that point. So that's the bigger question here. There's no question there. Here you'll see the right arm is down. Right arm is down, but he hasn't been contacted yet. So where is the ball at that point? And that's the 2 parts you have to piece together on this play.
Can you come out on the road with us every week this year?
I kind of like being up here, seeing it 3 and 4 and 5 times. It makes it a little bit easier, but it's a tricky call. But in my mind, when I look at this, I don't think you can overturn it to being short, just because you can't really see the position of the ball when the contact is first made by the defender.
And there must be conclusive evidence in order to overturn. Now, the folks up in the replay booth, you were telling us before the game, Mike, are not part of the lockout.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, they are part of the same union, but they have their own collective bargaining agreement, so they can't sympathy strike, if you want to call it that. So you have Larry Nemmers in the booth, who is a regular replay guy with his regular replay assistant, and that will be consistent throughout as long as this lockout goes on.
Larry Nemmers, a former official down on the field in the National Football League, and one new wrinkle for the fans this season: the same angles, the same replays that the referee looks at and that the replay officials upstairs look at will now be provided on the jumbotrons, on the video screens in all of the NFL stadiums this season, which is new this year. And
it's an attempt to give fans at the stadium something a little bit different, you know, because when you get into a stoppage like this, you know, you're looking at, you know, you're basically 3 minutes of dead action. So you know, we obviously can show the viewers at home a bunch of different angles, and a little different thing here is they'll go under the hood technically, and they'll show on the Jumbotron exactly what they're looking at. So as you see it now, this is what the referee is looking at under the hood right now. And you can see what they're trying to do. They're trying to establish when did that defender first touch the receiver.
So another look, this is exactly what referee Robert Dalton and the folks up in the replay booth are looking at, now available to all of the fans in the stadium.
And let's go back to the basic premise of replay, by the way, as we're looking at this play. You know, you have to have indisputable visual evidence to overturn, and that's that's what I think everybody needs to concentrate on, you know, so that everybody knows if a mistake has been
Ruling
made.
on the field stands. The result of the play was a touchdown.
And I think he did exactly what he needed to do with input, clearly, that he's going to get input from Larry Nemmers, the replay official upstairs.
Now, by Robert Dalton saying the ruling stands, that probably means that there was not enough conclusive evidence to overturn it. If they agreed with the call, he probably would have used the word confirmed.
Yeah, that's the old saying is, you know, if they say that the ruling in the field is confirmed, that's mean they had the positive knowledge. If they say it's reversed, that means they could obviously reverse it. But if they say stands, that means they couldn't tell one way or the other, and they would have stayed with it even if it was called the other way.
So it is a touchdown for Lusaka Polite. Here is Matt Bryant. And he ties the game at 10. With just under 6 minutes remaining in the second quarter here in Atlanta. Well, college football is coming to Fox each and every week. Aaron Andrews, Eddie George, and Joey Harrington will get you ready for kickoff. Heisman Trophy frontrunner Matt Barkley and third-ranked USC take their first step on the road to a national championship as they take on Hawaii. The premiere of College Football Saturday coming up on September 1st at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, only on Fox. As we welcome Aaron, Joey, and Eddie to the Fox family.
Absolutely. Well, with 5:49 to go, we sit at 10-10. Let's go back and take a look at our 2 touchdowns this evening. Very different plays. Andy Dalton deep down the field to A.J. Green. He got behind Asante Samuel. And just on that last play, Lusaka Polite just added to the roster this week. You put that big personnel group in, and you're right, Tony. They got me thinking, because the last time the Falcons were down in the red zone, they went 3 passes and had 3 incompletes and set up for a field goal. So I'm thinking they're going to come out and put the big guys in and pound the ball in. Little play action, and they find Lusaka Polite open in the flat.
Lusaka out of Tony's alma mater, Pitt, and spent 3 years with your former club, the Dallas Cowboys. Now trying to catch on here in Atlanta after their 5th-round draft pick out of Wisconsin. A rookie fullback named Brady Ewing was lost for the season last week.
Yeah, a tough go for Brady Ewing. Yeah, I mean, Wisconsin, very physical when they run the football at the college level, and we've got 2 guys in the game tonight. We've got Peter Kahns with Atlanta, drafted by the Falcons, and we also have Kevin Zeitler on Cincinnati in the offensive line from Wisconsin. So big physical running team there, and unfortunate for Brady Ewing to be out that first preseason game with a knee injury.
And the terrific fullback, the former Falcon, Ovi Mihaly, now in St. Louis. Here comes Bruce Gradkowski, who has started 20 regular season games during his NFL career with the Buccaneers, Browns, and Raiders. On to replace Andy Dalton as the Bengals will start from their own 20-yard line. Second season in Cincinnati for Gradkowski. Now playing for Jay Gruden as offensive coordinator. Started 11 games for John Gruden when in Tampa. Cedric Pierman in the backfield. Takes the handoff from Gradkowski. And he is stuffed back at the 16-yard line by the Cincinnati native, Ray Edwards.
Well, Andy Dalton got his work done this evening, was in my opinion very efficient again. And you know, one of the things that that Jay Gruden talked to us about, you know, when they drafted Andy last year, and they knew they were going to have a lockout, one of the things that they were really impressed with was his IQ, his football IQ coming out of college. He said that he learned a lot at TCU, was very well versed in the concepts and the protection schemes, had taken some snaps at shotgun and under center, so they were very, very comfortable knowing that he was going to have a very short period to get up to speed, that Andy would be able to handle it. And I talked to Bruce Gradkowski before the game. He said the same thing. He said he is excellent with pass protection and decisions at the line of scrimmage.
Pressure once again from Ray Edwards.
I think they forgot to block Ray Edwards. He was in the backfield before Gradkowski could even turn around.
Well, it's a guy that doesn't chase the action going the other way, Tony. You know, you're at this stage of the game. You know, somebody upstairs, you know, had to be looking at, hey, how is Ray Edwards playing, you know, the misdirection going the other way? And if he's got contained to that side, then he's got to honor that and get up the field. And he's just doing his job there defensively.
Three wide receivers set, third down at 14. Bengals must get to the 30. And the play is blown dead. It's a false start against the Bengals.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense number 65. 5-yard penalty, third down.
65 is the left guard out of the University of Georgia, Clint Bowling. Second year with the Bengals, starting for the injured Travell Wharton.
And again, there's that spot that Marvin Lewis was looking at, you know, coming into camp. And we really want to take a long, hard look at our two guard spots. And Travell Wharton, unfortunately, gets hurt in the first preseason game last week. So Clint Bowling has kind of moved over to left guard. Now, the good thing that they say about that is he's had to go against Geno Atkins all camp, and he's really improved from his rookie season last year.
Third down at 19. Gradkowski's pass is caught by Lee, who attempts to hurdle Brent Grimes down at the 17-yard line, so the Bengals will punt it away.
After that hurdle, he was going to need a lot of yardage to go get a first down, Darrell. Stay down and get out of bounds on that play.
Yeah. It looks good on replays and stuff, and sometimes it works out, but other times it ends up being like that, and you're just getting mashed into the turf from a little bit higher up.
Kevin Huber punting for the first time tonight. Taken at the 35 by Dominique Franks. Remember, the Falcons looked for a return man to replace the departed Eric Weems. And Franks takes it out to the 42-yard line. 49-yard punt, 7 on the return. Well, more preseason action tomorrow night on Fox from Baltimore as the Ravens host the Lions. Gets underway at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, as the former Baltimore Raven Chris Redmond replaces Matt Ryan at quarterback for the Falcons, who start from their own 41-yard line. Jaquiz Rodgers is the lone back. Toss to Rodgers, and Rodgers gains a couple of goose back in 2000. You were forcing Chris Redmond to carry your bags. He was getting you donuts. He was a rookie on that Ravens Super Bowl squad.
Yeah, one of the few guys that I played with that are still in the league. Him, Ray Lewis. I don't know, maybe there's one other guy, but I'll tell you what, he's got a great arm, great guy. He's been here. He's learned a lot. He was actually out of the league for 2 years. I'll tell you, I'm impressed by him, and I'm eager to see what he does right here.
He was selling insurance during those 2 years. Second down and 8. Redmond throws, and the catch is made out at the 47 by Michael Palmer.
Got a tough kid too. Watch Chris Redmond drop back into the pocket, get some pressure on him, but you know, keeps his eyes downfield and makes the throw. You got that from Baltimore, Kenny.
Goose, there is one more. 3 players still in the league from the 2000 Ravens. You mentioned Ray Lewis, Chris Redmond. The other scored the first touchdown for you guys in that game. He's now in Denver. Brandon Stokely.
Oh, yeah, Stokely. That's a great receiver right there. You throw anything near Brandon Stokely, he caught it.
And he's back with Peyton Manning. They were teammates at Indy. Third down and 4. And Tarek Newman with the contact on the intended receiver, Drew Davis. There is a flag.
Pass interference, defense number 23. Spot foul, automatic first down.
Good recognition by Terrence Newman. The inside route, the release into the outside, he gets there early. And he read it so well, he jumped it so quick that he just got there a little bit too early on Drew Davis. But Mike Zimmer said that Terrence Newman is playing as well as he has played back early in his days when they were together in Dallas. And he's one of the, Dallas's secondary has struggled the last few years. Terrence Newman leaves in the offseason. I've watched him play, wondered where he was going to be at this point in his career. I was surprised to hear Mike Zimmer so complimentary of him. Says he's played very, very well through camp.
This is Quiz Rodgers, and he picks up a Falcon first down. Rodgers gains 15 down to the Cincinnati 35-yard line.
See if he was down. Yep, he's down right there.
Left knee hit. As we approach the 2-minute warning here in Atlanta with the Falcons on the move. Tied at 10. Fox Theater in downtown Atlanta. Tied at 10. 2 minutes remaining. Second quarter. With most of the starters out. Backup offensive lineman in for the Falcons. Second string quarterback Chris Redman. Kurt Menefee back in his hometown of Atlanta. He will take you through halftime with highlights of tonight's other preseason game, the Packers and the Browns. Kurt, of course, will be joined once again by Terry, Howie, Jimmy, and Michael during the regular season on Fox NFL Sunday. Forward to week 1 on September 9th. First and 10 from the 34-yard line as Redmond's pass could not be handled by the Georgia Tech product Kevin Cohn.
I'll tell you what, Kurt really looks good right now, man. I'll tell you, nice job with that handkerchief too. I mean, did he fold that, Darryl, or?
First, we had to cut the pocket. You can tell that Kurt's got a new jacket because it was still stitched in the pocket, and he couldn't get it to go in. So first, we had to cut the pocket, and then we had to get the right fold on there.
Darryl, of course, our pocket square expert on our crew. Second and 10. And Redmond's pass is deflected, and then caught on the deflection. It is Harry Douglas for a Falcons first down.
They got lucky here and going to throw a slant to the quarterback's right. It's going to get tipped up into the air, the middle of the field. All the Bengal defenders had closed on the ball, and it goes beyond him to Harry Douglas, and then he fumbles it as he goes out of bounds.
Douglas showing his athleticism, comes from an athletic family. His brother Tony recently traded by the New York Knicks to the Houston Rockets.
Much taller than Harry, right?
A little bit. He's a shooting guard. Redmond to the end zone. He was looking for Michael Palmer. So second down upcoming. Goose, I was wondering, we saw Goose Cam earlier. Does Kurt have his own camera? Is there a Kurt Cam somewhere here in the dome?
No, there's not. There's not. Only this one right here. I think my lens a little bit.
Can he share yours?
No, he can't. He's got to stay way over there or way over there.
So how many things did you ask for this year? You only got the camera, but how many things did you have on your list this year?
There were 7. I got 4, but I only told you about 1.
Now on second and 10, here's Rodgers. Goose, Darryl and I were wondering, your monitors look a little small this year. Did you get new monitors?
No, these aren't the monitors that I'll be using during the see right here. These aren't the monitors I'll be using during the game. These are preseason monitors. They'll upgrade to the 60-inch LEDs that are becoming in, Darryl. And I might have an extra one if you need one for the house or something like that, because I did order 3. So if you need anything, let me know, Darryl, and we'll hook you up, okay?
Is that you going with a bigger monitor so you don't have to wear your readers down on the sideline?
No, my eyes are good. You know, I can't hear and I can't smell, but I can definitely
You can see?
I can see.
You can store more bags of M&Ms on the 60-inch monitor.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Come on, man.
Do the 1 pound bag instead of the little dry.
That's all I get to eat. I don't get a whole buffet like you do up there.
Redmond complete to Douglas, but not enough on 3rd down and 8. And a timeout is taken by Marvin Lewis.
I think if they bring all the big guys in again, that Marvin won't think it's going to be a run again.
Well, we got 4th down. I don't think we're going to go after it here on 4th down. I see some defensive players going out there.
And the field goal unit out as well. Well, the Falcons and Bengals join the entire NFL in celebrating USA Football Month throughout August. USA Football, the sport's national governing body and the official youth football development partner of the NFL, is introducing Heads Up Football, a new approach to a better, safer game. If you're a youth football parent or coach before your season starts, go to usafootball.com, learn how you can make the game better for your players. That's Heads Up Football at usafootball.com.
I've seen the website. It's a very interesting concept. It has a lot of merit. It's kind of changing the thought process of how we were taught to tackle, Tony. We were told to bite the ball, to get our head down, and this is completely different. So, highly recommend anybody that's working with young kids today in the game of football to take a look at that.
Yeah, all the information you can get to protect those kids.
Matt Bryant from 22 giving the Falcons their first lead. Yes, USA Football, a health and safety resource for parents, coaches, and players, so check out that website. Well, the Atlanta Falcons, 10-6 last season, made the playoffs as a wild card. Of course, Sean Payton will not be with the New Orleans Saints this season. They will open up at home against Washington.
Well, just remember, Sean Payton was not calling the plays last year when he hurt his leg. Pete Carmichael stepped in, did a nice job. I think the Saints, there's a lot of controversy around them. I think they're going to be fine. This is the team that I'm interested to see. Cam Newton in his sophomore season, they became the most explosive offense in the NFL last year with Cam Newton as their quarterback. And can Jeremy Shockey and Greg Olsen continue to work the inside and Steve Smith on the outside? And here's your wild card here, Greg Schiano, the head coach at Tampa Bay. They could be a team this year that just roughs you up. Maybe not have that great record and contend for the NFC South title, but you might be one of those teams that, when Mike Smith goes to play Tampa Bay, you're not going to be able to look by them. They're in the first year of turning things around, but I think they're going to be a very physical group.
4 straight winning seasons for the Falcons. Tremendous here at home. They were the #1 seed in the NFC 2 years ago when they won the division, lost to the eventual Super Bowl champion Packers. Then last season, 10-6. They lose in the wild card game to the eventual Super Bowl champion Giants. So 2 straight years the Falcons have been eliminated by the team that would go on to win it all.
Wow, 9 yards deep.
And Tate takes it out and is tackled at the 14-yard line by Robert James for the 2nd straight season. Kickoffs from the 35-yard line. Last year, only 53% of the kickoffs were returned, but concussions on kickoffs were way down.
Yeah, and I think it's probably one of the questions that you got in the offseason more than anything is people were always asking me, what do you think about the new kickoff rule? And, to be honest with you, I think it's an exciting play. I'd like to see more kickoffs returned, but when you find out that the concussions were reduced by 40% with that rule change, I think you got to think long and hard on it.
And the other thing you got to look at is not only were the concussions reduced, but points were not low. It didn't take points off the board. The scoring average was 44.4 points a game, and so the committee's happy with that. They would like to see more returns, but on the other hand, with the lack of concussions, they're not going to change this rule. And even the NCAA now went back to kicking off from the 35-yard line because they saw the success that the NFL had with reducing those concussions.
A credit to the offenses in the NFL. The average starting field position was less.
That would significantly change.
Yeah, but they're still scoring more points.
Right.
Now, we do not often see a return man take it out from 9 yards deep as tainted on that last return.
And I liked your point because I was concerned about the rule because when I played, I was the center on kickoff return, and I dropped back 35, 40 yards and take on some guy that had a full head of steam coming at me, and you never knew whether the kick was going to be brought out or not. And so I felt that that collision was always going to be there, that it was going to be hard to remove that collision along the front line. But you feel that because it was happening so often that guys were just assuming that it was going to go.
Yeah, I mean, little more than 50% of the kickoffs were returned, so I think it was natural to ease up. And you know, then there were some big returns, and you have to question, was it because the teams had a tendency to ease up because of the amount of touchbacks? I don't know, but I do know this: they were happy with the rule change.
Following the Atlanta timeout, 2nd down and 9, as Gronkowski gets rid of it quickly. Mohamed Sanu, the 3rd-round pick out of Rutgers. He played for Greg Schiano last season. In fact, he set a Big East record for receptions, breaking Larry Fitzgerald's mark. As the clock is stopped with 51 seconds remaining as the Falcons use their 2nd timeout. So Sanu, another one of those young Bengal receivers in the mix.
Yeah, I mean, watching them in pregame, they were impressive, in and out of their cuts. You didn't see anybody slip. Big physical guys, you know, the whole group. You know, I walked down, I was like, well, this must be the wide receivers and the tight ends together. And it ended up just being the wide receivers. So, you know, Marvin Lewis told us, listen, you know, there's a lot of talk about who's going to be our number 2, but really for me with that group, I'm trying to decide whether to keep 6 or 7. You know, that's going to be the hard decision. And it really will come down to, you know, what do the guys do on special teams? The guy that's at 5-6 and the guy that's battling for that 7th spot. How productive do you become on special teams and force Marvin Lewis into making that tough decision to go with 6 or 7 wide receivers?
As you see, Falcons with 1 timeout. Bengals have 2 remaining. Fox box, upper left-hand corner underneath the team abbreviations. Gronkowski out of the shotgun. 3rd down and 10. Moving to his right. He throws. It's Donald Lee. But he's forced out of bounds at the 14-yard line by Croy Bierman. So the Bengals, with 44 seconds remaining in the 2nd quarter, will punt it away.
He's one of the guys that you just have to have on your team. You got to have a Croy Bierman on your team. I mean, there's a guy who rushes the passer, gets a sack every once in a while that changes momentum in a game, and there's Croy Bierman covering Donald Lee in the flat. I mean, he's so athletic, he's so quick.
Kevin Huber punting from his own 3-yard line to Dominique Franks. Franks takes it on the back pedal at the 35. There is a flag. 5-yard return out to the 40. Mike Pereira says it will be a hold. Mike is never wrong.
Oh, no, don't say that.
You're right 99% of the time. We'll give you that.
There we go.
After the kick, holding, number 27, Cincinnati, be a 10-yard penalty.
Barry Wilson with the assist.
Correct.
The side judge. We know it's a hold, Mike. You were correct.
It's a hold that they will eventually enforce from the end of the kick, which had happened during the kick, so that's where it should go.
Spot of the foul. 1st down.
It had to be one of those 2 teams.
Side judge Barry Wilson coming in says my fault to the referee Robert Dalton. So with 32 seconds remaining, Falcons with a 3-point lead. Atlanta has scored on their last 3 possessions. Ball will be spotted back at the 31-yard line. Chris Redmond in at quarterback. Falcons starter Matt Ryan, 18 of 21. With a touchdown pass to Osaka Polite. Falcons with 1 timeout. Redmond operating out of the shotgun. 3 wide receiver set. Redmond for Rodgers. And he's tackled back at the 27, a loss of 4.
That's
Vincent Ray does a nice job of sniffing that out, huh, Darryl?
Yeah, how many times do we see a 2-minute drive start with a screen or a draw, Tony, just to kind of get that momentum going? Good anticipation by Vincent Ray, you know, kind of being a little bit of a forward thinker and what could come on that first snap.
Falcons do not use their final timeout as Redmond fires out of bounds. Now 5 seconds on the clock. Kurt Menefee coming up at halftime. Falcons lead the Bengals 13-10. Preseason game number 2 for both clubs. Should be the final play of the half, barring a defensive penalty. It's Rodgers. And Jaquiz takes it out across the 45. Tackled at the 49-yard line, and there is a flag. A flag at the end of the run. Mike, any guess on this one?
Unnecessary roughness on number 61,
I
Joe
think
Hawley.
so. And if it's an offensive foul, then it's a personal foul, dead ball personal foul. If that's what they have, then it should carry over to the third quarter kickoff. But you won't extend the period.
After the play, personal foul, 76 of the white. Penalty will be administered on the second half kickoff. This is halftime.
That's correct. So in any dead ball foul that happens on the last play after the clock is expired, so that if it's a personal foul against either team, carries over to the third quarter kickoff.
So we've hit halftime here in Atlanta with the Falcons leading 13-10. A.J. Green, 50-yard strike from Andy Dalton. Then Lusaka Polite, 2-yard Matt Ryan touchdown pass. Here in Atlanta, it's the Falcons by 3. Kurt Menefee coming up after these messages. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to iTunes.com/NFL. Back in Atlanta, 3-point lead for the Falcons as we get set for the second half in this second week of the preseason. Kenny Albert with Darryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa downstairs. Matt Ryan, 18 of 21. Andy Dalton, a 50-yard touchdown pass in that first half.
Kind of what we expected from those two guys. One guy, Matt Ryan, going into his 5th year, and Tony Gonzalez telling us that he felt that that's when young quarterbacks really took that next step. And I was impressed with Matt today. He played well last week. He's continued that on. He's really kind of, put the burden on his shoulder to get this team to the next level, to have some success in the playoffs. And Andy Dalton, just continues to impress me. I mean, a great season last year as a rookie working with A.J. Green, leads his team to the playoffs and came out and played very effectively again tonight. Saw some athleticism from Andy Dalton tonight, escaping the pocket. Good fundamentals, 2 hands on the football, does a lot of the little things right. So it's going to be fun to watch these two guys this year.
They connected on that 50-yard touchdown for the Bengals. As we check out the first half numbers. Starters on both sides played well into the second quarter. Falcons with 6 plays of at least 20 yards, 250 yards in all for Atlanta.
It's been a point of emphasis for Atlanta over the last 2 seasons is to get those explosive plays going up, and you can see there 6 of them in the first half for Atlanta.
Bengals deferred to start the game, so they will get the ball first here in the second half. Matt Bosher gets things started. Andrew Hawkins on the return. Out across the 30-yard line. Hawkins still on his feet, and it's Bosher who kicked off. Falcons punter who drags Hawkins down at the 41 after a 33-yard return. Goose.
I'm waiting for Mike Pereira to get down here, but I'm going to be going over to the sidelines. We're going to be talking to the quarterbacks, some of the players who scored and made some good plays. So I got some really cool interviews coming up. So you guys don't mess it up. Make sure you leave some time for me. You got it, Kenny and Darryl?
We look forward to it. Mike, for the time being, is still up here with us, but he will make his way down.
Don't get nervous, Pereira. Come on down.
God, I'm worried about that.
He's shaking because Bruce Gronkowski remains in at quarterback for the Bengals as he hands it off on first down to the former Lion Aaron Brown, his first carry tonight, and Brown gains a yard out to the 41.
Another one of the running backs for the Cincinnati Bengals that's going to have an opportunity to showcase what he can do to try and make this roster. BenJarvus Green-Ellis, Bernard Scott out of the lineup tonight. So we've had Brian Leonard, we'd have Cedric Pierman, now we've got Aaron Brown. Darren Herron will get his opportunity later this half.
If you were to tell these young guys out there that are trying to make the team, Darryl, what would be the #1 thing you would tell the fullbacks and running backs to go and do in today's game to make this team?
If you're going to make a mistake, make it at full speed. I mean, you don't want to see hesitation from a player where he's thinking. You know, trust all your preparation, trust that the coaches have put you in a position, you know the rules, you know the protections, but, you know, if you're going to make a mistake, just make it at full speed.
Pass batted down by Travian Robertson, 7th-round pick out of South Carolina. You talked about all the Bengals running backs without Green-Ellis and Scott, and of course Cedric Benson rushed for over 1,000 yards last year for Cincinnati, signed earlier this week with the Green Bay Packers. 3rd down and 9. Gronkowski from the shotgun. First possession of the second half here in Atlanta as Gronkowski takes off, picks up a first down and more. Bruce Gronkowski all the way down to the Atlanta 28-yard line as Gronkowski picks up 29.
Got some speed there, Darryl.
Yeah, and they left the middle of the field wide open, so when they miss him right there, he's got his eyes down the field, and I think he was probably surprised to see how wide open that was. There was nobody in the middle of the field.
Marvin Lewis, I'm down here on the sideline, he's complaining about the ball spot. He says where the forward progress is, you have to leave the ball. So Mike Pereira on that last one, they bring the ball back and mark it the wrong spot.
On the end around, Marvin Jones, rookie out of Cal, 5th-round draft pick. Another Bengals first down. So the big run by Gronkowski. He told us, Darryl, before the game, looking forward to watching his brother Gino on Fox tomorrow night, a rookie center, 4th-round pick with the Baltimore Ravens. They will host the Lions on Fox tomorrow night.
Yeah, he said he got all the size in the family.
1st and 10 from the Falcons' 12. Brown bottled up, forced back to the 13-yard line.
And we've talked about red zone improvement for both of these teams. It's always something that offenses are working on. Points are at a premium in the NFL. But in my opinion, if you get down into the red zone, you've got to be able to run the ball effectively. And that's one of the things that I think a lot of teams could do better at once you get to the red zone. If you can't run the football, if you feel like you've got to throw down here, I think it puts you at a big disadvantage.
3 receivers set, 2nd down and 9. Gronkowski to the end zone, wide open. Mohamed Sanu for a Bengals touchdown.
This is well done by Bruce Gronkowski. He's going to go flat, and then he sees the defender jump up, and he sees Mohamed Sanu left all alone in the corner of the end zone. I still don't know how he got the ball out before Lawrence Sidbury got to him. It looked like he hit him right as he was throwing the ball.
We told you about Sanu earlier, 3rd-round pick out of Rutgers. Set a new Big East record for receptions. Also played some quarterback for the Scarlet Knights. Nugent the extra point. Gronkowski to Sanu. Bengals lead by 4. Great to have you with us tonight from Atlanta. First game of season 19 of the NFL on Fox. It all started back in '94. There's Mohamed Sanu, 12-yard touchdown reception, a key play, the big run by Gretkowski.
That's one of the gambles, you know, when you're going to play man-to-man coverage and leave that middle of the field open. They had an opportunity to get a sack on Bruce Gretkowski, but he broke free, and boy, there was just nothing but open field in front of him.
This is James Rodgers, the older brother of Jaquiz. Rodgers trying to earn a spot. He towers over his brother. He's 5'7". Jaquiz 5'6", James 5'7". James Rodgers out of Oregon State set a school record for career receptions. So the Falcons start from their own 30, trailing by 4, with Chris Redmond remaining in at quarterback. Matt Ryan, the starter, went 18 of 21 with a touchdown pass to Lusaka Polite. Hand off on first down to Antone Smith. And Smith takes it out to the 41, gain of 11 as we check in downstairs with Goose.
Thanks, Kenny. I'm down here. A.J. Green, Andy Dalton. I'll tell you what, you guys are like inseparable, so I wanted to interview you guys together. Tell me about the touchdown play real quick, can you?
Yeah, the play before, the corner jumped the route, so we put a double move on at that time, and I singled up A.J., so we knew we had the matchup we wanted, and we made a great play.
A.J., did you give him like the secret signal? Hey, man, take a look at me. I'm going to be wide open.
Nah, just it was a great ball by him. Like you said, the corner was sitting on the route the play before, so we put on a double move, and we got him, man. Threw a great ball, and I ran right under it.
It looks like you had a couple opportunities. Looked like they were underestimating your speed a little bit out there.
A little bit. This is good to get some balls today, and Andy do some great balls today, so it's good.
So you guys like hang out all the time? You guys like the pair? You guys eat together and go out together and watch film together? Is that what we're getting here?
We even do interviews together.
It's unbelievable. Now, what kind of guy is he? Is AJ like a clean guy? Is his locker clean? Or
He is. He is a clean guy. He's not too messy, so he's a good guy to hang out with.
Okay, and how about Andy?
Exactly, man. He's a great guy, man. He's married, so can't take up all this time from the wife. So he's a great guy to be around, though.
You're fighting his wife for time. Well, that's good. Well, you guys, you guys are right where you left off last year, and you guys looks like you're getting your timing down together, and hopefully you'll carry on having even better year than you did last.
Yeah, that's the plan. We're not rookies anymore. We know what to expect going in, so hopefully big things will happen for us this year.
Big veteran now, huh?
Yeah, big veteran.
Big. All right, congratulations, you guys. Good job today. Back to you, Kenny.
Love you.
Who do they love down?
I think that was who was one.
Hope so. First and second round picks by the Bengals last year. Terrific rookie seasons. They went to the Pro Bowl together. How about this? Andy Dalton, the first rookie in history. 8 wins and at least 20 touchdown passes as a starting quarterback as a rookie.
And the amazing thing is, look at that, they even stand alike. It's unbelievable. They are freaking frag. But, the good stuff is that there could be better things to come in 2012 because they didn't even realize, how much they missed last year during the lockout. And he said, boy, with the OTAs and all the meetings and the extra practice we got this year to really kind of fine-tune what Jake Gruden was putting in place in the offense last year, I think both A.J. Green and Andy Dalton, have really, really high expectations. And it's a young group. Sometimes it's good to be young. You just don't know any better. And I think that this offense could do some really good things this year. I think Cincinnati is definitely a team to watch in the AFC North.
Bengals have not had back-to-back winning seasons since 1981 and 82. That is not good news for the Falcons. Peter Kahns, their rookie center, second-round pick out of Wisconsin, is shaken up.
And again, that was the area of focus, in training camp, trying to find that offensive line, get it shored up. And Peter Kahns, their second-round pick, was supposed to be one of the guys to help that situation out.
Back in Atlanta, early third quarter. It's the NFL on Fox. It's the Bengals leading the Falcons by 4. Just heard from second-year combo of Andy Dalton and A.J. Green. Tony Siragusa has made it back to his perch, and We'll be joined momentarily by Mike Pereira.
He's here already, Kenny.
Laid it down quick.
Yeah, he ran.
This play blown dead on 3rd down and 6.
False start. Offense number 74. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Will Svitek. So the Falcons now face 3rd down and 11. Chris Redmond in his 10th season. Drafted by the Ravens back in 2000. Spent some time in New England, Tennessee. His 6th year here in Atlanta. From the 39. Redmond hit as he throws. Pass intended for the tight end, Tommy Gallardo.
Chris Redmond with some pressure right in his face. Dan Scooter continuing to work through. I mean, he worked through the release of a running back, then engaged the tackle and just drove him back, and then got in and got some pressure on Chris Redmond.
Andrew Hawkins back deep for the Bengals. Mosher punting from midfield. Fair catch called for by Hawkins at the 13-yard line. So the Bengals back on offense. The pressure on Redmond from Scooter and Lawson. 3rd quarter here in Atlanta. Bengals lead the Falcons 17-13 as we check out Goose Cam once again. Who's that guy, Tony?
He's taking up my space over here, man. Stay back there, Pereira.
I'd pat him down for M&Ms too, Goose.
There he goes.
You go.
Yeah.
Yep.
You have to hide them.
I got one snack, and he's eating them all. He's a very well-dressed man, though.
Finally out of the studio. We'll be back during the regular season, week 1. Zach Robinson is in at quarterback for the Bengals. Hands it off to Aaron Brown. And Chris Hope, the 9-year vet, comes up to make the tackle with Gronkowski now on the sidelines with Andy Dalton.
Yeah, this is the job that I have right here, you know. Pereira comes out, he's half dressed. I got to go and fix his little.
I wish you'd comb my hair. I wish you'd comb my hair.
Yeah, the hair is a problem. It looked a lot better right there. I mean, that was nice. Right now, it's a mess.
Here's Robinson moving to his right, and then pass falls incomplete. So both Kurt and Mike not ready for the preseason opener here on Fox. Darryl had to fold Kurt Menefee's pocket square, and then fashion consultant number 2, Tony Siragusa, helping out Mike Pereira before the game.
They don't understand what life on the road is like. You know, they get that posh setting back in LA. Now they got a news studio. I can only imagine the amenities that are going to be there.
So you're right.
It's only going to get worse.
They have people to do all those things for them in LA.
It's unbelievable.
You know, Goose has got quite a setup here, you know. But looking at his monitors are kind of small.
I agree.
It'll be fixed. It'll be fixed.
Here's Robinson on 3rd down and 11. And Robinson knocked out of bounds at the 21-yard line. He's in his 2nd season out of Oklahoma State. Originally drafted by the Patriots in the 7th round back in 2010.
Good decisions there as he's looking down the field. There's nobody open. And again, what we saw from Andy Dalton too, Zach Robinson does a good job as he's moving out and the play has broken down of getting that ball secure. So if he does take a hit once he's out in the open field, he's not going to put the ball on the ground.
And Zach Robinson's 6'3". I mean, with those offensive linemen, you saw him in that last picture. Those offensive linemen are mammoth. It's hard to look downfield, even at 6'3".
Tim Toon on the return. He was the last pick in the draft. There he is. 2 years ago, Mr. Irrelevant, selected by the Lions. Tony, I think you can get a job out in the studio in LA. We are back in Atlanta from the Georgia Dome. Bengals leading the Falcons 17-13. Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa, Kurt Menefee, Mike Pereira. It's a cast of thousands as we introduce the Fox viewers to Heath Evans.
And my hot dog.
We have M&M's downstairs and Tony hot dogs up here in the broadcast booth with Heath, who was doing a rehearsal game during the first half, rehearsal telecast with his partner Sam Rosen. Heath will be working Seattle and Arizona week 1, and then many more games throughout the season on Fox. Call Star NFL to download NFL Mobile now and get coverage of every NFL game. Now, it is not often that I get to be surrounded by 2 fullbacks who both won Super Bowl rings. Darryl, of course, 3 with the Dallas Cowboys, and Heath is a member of the New Orleans Saints, also played for the Patriots.
18-1, don't bring it up, though. We're good.
But then he did win one with the Saints a couple of years later.
That's right.
How'd the first half go for you?
You know what? It was interesting. It's neat being here from this perspective and calling a game, getting to watch these guys fly around at the speed in which, we used to play at. It's definitely a different perspective.
Makes you hungry, right?
It definitely makes me hungry. And Darryl as well. But us fullbacks are tight. This is my side, and this is Darryl's side here. This is the side he bit off of. And so
you guys share everything.
We share,
Would you like to demonstrate?
No, not at all.
Easy there, Kenny.
Yeah.
Get him, Lenny. Get him, Lenny. Now, Heath, I noticed at dinner last night you were eating a little more healthier than you are tonight.
Well, until dessert came out. My wife wasn't with us, so I could get away with it. She'd be on me about the cookies and what else we have, mousse and cheesecake or something else. It was good, whatever it was.
Absolutely.
And then on national television, he eats a hot dog as Redmond hits Kevin Cole, who takes it into Bengals territory for Falcons first down.
Let me ask you, you played the game, beyond my career, and I get it all the time, the fullback position. What's happening? What's the fullback position going to be as the NFL moves forward? And it hurts. I don't have a good answer when I talk to people.
I say this. You can even look back to 2010 Green Bay. John Kuhn. They were very, very, let's call it lucky maybe in their run game through their Super Bowl stretch. They got their Super Bowl. You look at Baltimore, you look at Pittsburgh, you look at teams that are competitive year in and year out. They put a fullback on the field. Do I think we live in a day and age where, yes, the Saints and Brady and his folks up there in New England, they spread the ball around without a fullback? I don't think we're ever going to see a day and age where it's completely gone.
That's good news. That's better than my answer. A lot of times, I'm waiting for the position to kind of evolve, like we've seen the tight end spot and we've seen the wide receiver spot. I'm waiting for that guy that comes out of college that can go into the backfield. And I tell people all the time, why does it have to be the tight end? Why do we have to put him in the slot? Why do we have to remove him from formation? Why can't we find that guy coming from the college level with great hands that can actually also go into the backfield and be a great lead blocker?
I think it's more the height stature. You think about us. I think you're 6'1", I'm 6 foot. Talk about the leverage game for a fullback, really getting under the defender to move them and remove that 1 yard barrier that you're trying to create. I think when you get the athletic guys that you want in the pass game, they're looking at the 6'3", 6'4" guy that doesn't really quite fit our stature.
How about that, Heath? The fullback, Usaka Polite, has a touchdown and makes the catch.
Well, you know what? He's been here a couple days. Obviously, the injury to Brady Ewing, the rookie out of Wisconsin that they drafted. Let's keep feeding the fullback the ball. Moose and I love it.
By the way, Heath, you forgot me. I'm 5'11".
Okay, well, you know what? At the combine, they said I was 5'11", 9'6", I said, what does that mean? It says you're almost 6 feet. So I'm with you. I'm 5'11", something.
5'11", 6'1".
I was 6'2" at one point. I could be 6'1".
Shrunk.
Heath, you better eat that hot dog. It's getting cold there, man, your right hand.
They keep talking to me too much.
From the 34, here's Redmond. And Redmond finds his man close to a first down. It is Marcus Jackson, rookie free agent out of Lamar, as we approach 4 minutes remaining, third quarter here in Atlanta.
Working on the outside. One of the things I've seen tonight, Heath, is really some good combinations, especially from Atlanta. Whether they were doing the tiers on some of their play action with the boots to the outside, and here, pulling defenders out of the windows and allowing that to open up, get that good sight line between quarterback and wide receiver on the outside.
Well, you saw understanding from the wide receivers as well, sitting down in those windows, not running into that next zone or to that next defender, which honestly is an improvement from what we've seen in years past. I love the addition of the screen game and the draw game that Dirk Cutter has influenced and implemented into this offense as well.
Dirk Cutter, the new offensive coordinator here in Atlanta, as Dimitri Nance picks up a first down. There's Dirk, spent the last 5 seasons as the offensive coordinator in Jacksonville.
That's one of the reasons why I understand what they're going to try and do with Michael Turner's snaps, but I mean, here's a guy who comes from Jacksonville with Maurice Jones-Drew. He knows how important the running game is, and I think we saw some of that tonight with how effective Matt Ryan was throwing the play action. When they wanted to go deep, it was play action with max protection.
Right. Now Redmond moving to his right and then throws left. This is Antone Smith. And he picks up a Falcons first down, and there is a late flag after Smith was forced out of bounds.
Another one of the players on Atlanta's roster that everybody talks about, and the question will be, will there be a spot for him? Antone Smith, with Michael Turner, Jason Snelling, Jaquiz Rogers, is there going to be a spot for him?
Illegal block in the back, number 16 of the offense, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, still first down.
That's on Marcus Jackson.
Moose, I think you look no further than New Orleans. You look across the division, you see the backfield they have. Talk about Chris Ivory, Mark Ingram. Their list goes on and on there with Pierre Thomas.
Right there. And that's one thing, as a young guy, you're out here, you're playing the game with emotion, but you got to be smart. You got to play the game smart. I think that one of the things that coaches are looking for right now with the young guys is how smart do you play once you get in between the stripes out there on the football field. And we heard it from Mike Smith with Atlanta. We heard it from Marvin Lewis when we talked with Cincinnati. It's the intelligent player they're looking for.
Redmond's pass is picked off in the end zone by Jeremy Miles, third-year safety out of UMass. So the Bengals will take over when we return. Heath Evans, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Best of luck this season on Fox, working with Sam Rosen.
Love it. Thank you, guys.
Andy Dalton on the Bengals sideline, 2:35 remaining, third quarter. Dalton was 8 of 14 for 125 yards. 50-yard touchdown strike to A.J. Green back in the second quarter. Bengals 9-7 a season ago, lost to Houston the wild card game 31-10. Bengals have not won a playoff game since January of '91. They have not had back-to-back winning seasons since '81 and '82. Things looking up. They've gone to the postseason 2 of the last 3 years as Robinson goes deep, and the catch is made by Marvin Jones, the rookie out of Cal. Zach Robinson to Marvin Jones, a 42-yard pass play.
Another well-thrown ball by Zach Robinson. That is very tight coverage by Dominique Franks. He's right there, right in position, but this is just a well-thrown ball down the field. Not a whole lot of separation. Look at the eyes, the concentration all the way to the catch.
2 minutes remaining, third quarter, as Robinson hands it off to Daniel Boom Herron, the rookie out of Ohio State, 6th-round pick, and Herron gains 4.
Been impressed by the backup groups here. Late in that second quarter, now into the third. One of the things that I think everybody's looking for in the NFL is depth, so it's really important for these guys at this time to show that they understand the offense. They can be counted on to come in if anybody gets hurt on that starting group.
There is a flag, 2 flags, as Herron picks up a first down to the Falcons' 22.
Holding, offense number 81. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Still second down.
Colin Koshart. Matt Ryan nearly perfect in the first half, is standing by with Goose.
Thanks, Kenny. Here at Matt Ryan. Matt, how do you think the first half went?
You know what? I think we started off a little bit slow, had some opportunities to kind of extend our drives, but we got into rhythm towards the end of the second quarter, and we're able to put the ball in the end zone, which I thought was pretty good.
Yeah, the offensive line, watching them in the first quarter, looks like they weren't really playing together, and then as the game got on, they got a little bit better, gave you a little bit more time in the pocket. Look for your receivers now, Field.
Yeah, I think it's the entire offense. Our offensive line and wide receivers, we all kind of started a little bit slow. Couldn't really get into a rhythm, but as we got into the second quarter, we started to move the ball a little bit more effectively. Really had 2 good opportunities of scoring touchdowns and came away with 1.
You guys, I couldn't believe it. I saw you guys throw a screen. Is that what I saw?
Yeah, we slipped in a couple tonight. And,
is that for other teams to work on, or is this something actually we're going to see?
A little bit of both, I think. A little bit of both.
Now, when you guys got into the red zone, you guys, me and Darryl couldn't believe it. You went 3 passes in a row, and then you came out, and Darryl goes, man, they're going to run the ball on this one. Then you went out and came out and threw a little out pass there to your fullback, and you fooled everybody.
Yeah, that's right. Dirk had him dialed up earlier during that drive. But that's one of the things, he's an aggressive play caller, and we made the plays when we needed to.
All right, man. Congratulations, and enjoy the rest of the game.
All right, thanks, Goose.
You got it.
Appreciate it.
A look at his 2 top targets at the wide receiver position.
92 in defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Roughing the passer call, Travian Robertson, 7th-round pick out of South Carolina.
This will give us a chance to talk about one of the other points of emphasis this year in the NFL, forcible or non-forcible blows to the head with the quarterback. So you remember a few plays from last year, there would be contact to the head of the quarterback, and it was kind of incidental contact, but this year they're going to define that a lot better, Mike.
Yeah, they are, and that was forcible contact. Did it move the head of the passer? In that case, he hit him right in the front, and you could see him turn the head. So they don't want the grazing blow called, but that was one with force.
Herron wrapped up by Lawrence Sidbury. Getting back to Matt Ryan for a second, and his first season working with new coordinator Dirk Cutter, and Dirk told us Ryan's a great communicator, an excellent leader. He's really enjoyed working with him. In fact, when we sat down with Dirk Cutter on Tuesday, he said Matt and I just finished, and the other quarterbacks, our 51st quarterback meeting of camp.
I think it's a great relationship, and I give a lot of credit to Dirk Cutter coming in and being open to, learn the system that the Falcons are running. They wanted to kind of tweak their offense a little bit, and they're going to bring some ideas and some concepts that Dirk Cutter is going to bring from his background. But Matt Ryan had a lot of input into this offense. The terminology stayed the same, which is great for that offense. Dirk Cutter was forced to learn everything new. And, the funny thing that I heard was, for the last, 6 months, it's been very uncomfortable for me learning this new system.
3/4 of the books here in Atlanta. Mohamed Sanu reached the end zone of the 3rd quarter, giving the Bengals a 17-13 lead over the Falcons. Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa, Mike Pereira, Kurt Menefee, Heath Evans, all on hand for the preseason opener on Fox. Ravens and Lions tomorrow night. Zach Robinson and the Bengals. 3rd down and 10 from the Falcons' 29. Pass was deflected by Travian Robertson.
And it's little plays like that. I mean, this is going to be a long catch and run for Dan Herron if Travian Robertson doesn't get a hand on this ball. There is not a whole lot of defense behind him. Get your hand up, deflect that away. You can see he's got a lineman out front of him. Trevor Robinson is pulled, and he's out front to lead him down the field.
So here's Thomas Weber looking to win a job here in Cincinnati. 47-yard attempt from the right hash. And Weber's kick is wide to the right. In camp with the Bengals last season out of Arizona State. Missed a 37-yard attempt last week against the Jets. And is no good, wide to the right. Early 4th quarter in Atlanta. Back in Atlanta, Bengals lead early 4th quarter. Bengals, Darryl, one of 3 teams to make the postseason in 2011 out of the AFC North.
Yeah, and is there a transition going on at the top? Ray Lewis just continues to play at an unbelievable level at this stage of his career. Can the Ravens stay on top? You see first in the AFC North last year. Here's your big question mark, is the Pittsburgh Steelers. They've been consistent for a long time, but are they going into a period of transition that's going to allow the Bengals to maybe jump into that number 2 spot? And we'll see how this plays out. Colt McCoy, Brandon Weeden, 2 first-round draft picks for the Browns. Trent Richardson, the running back from Alabama, at 3 overall in the draft last April. So we'll see if Cleveland can get the ship righted and start heading in the right direction.
Speaking of Alabama, this is John Parker Wilson in at quarterback for the Falcons in his 4th season out of Alabama, and he stumbles out of bounds at the 36-yard line as he loses a yard. John Parker Wilson has been up and down between the Falcons active roster and practice squad over the last 3 seasons.
Back and forth, you know, given an opportunity to show this Atlanta staff what he's capable as the backup quarterback, but really hasn't had the opportunity, or actually has had the opportunity, just hasn't taken advantage of that opportunity to kind of unseat Chris Redmond at that number 2 spot.
The Falcons also excited about their 4th quarterback in camp out of East Carolina, Dominique Davis. 2nd down and 11. Penalty marker as the pass is caught for a gain of 9 by Marcus Jackson out across the 45-yard line.
Pass interference, defense number 57. Spot foul, automatic first down.
That's Vincent Ray, backup linebacker in his 2nd season out of Duke. As the Falcons shuffle in personnel, Chase Kaufman, number 86, enters the huddle. Tight end originally drafted by the Bengals in 2009 after a tremendous collegiate career at Missouri.
Great college career, great senior season. Actually, the Mackey Award winner his year coming out of college, and just hasn't been able to stay healthy early in his career and really have the type of NFL career he was hoping, or a lot of people thought he would.
And this is Kaufman, who hurdles over TJ Heath. So Kaufman signed last week by the Falcons. He was in camp with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
You take a look at the class that came out in 2008. Jermaine Grisham got hurt in this game, had a right knee injury in the 1st quarter. I think that he's an up-and-coming tight end for the Cincinnati Bengals. Brandon Pettigrew has had a great run now. He's up there with Matthew Stafford, that explosive Detroit Lion offense. So Chase Kaufman was the winner that year with those caliber of tight ends coming out in his class. So high expectations for him, just hasn't lived up to him yet.
2nd down and 6, pass intended for Marcus Jackson. And we've spoken a lot over the last couple of days and throughout this telecast tonight about the tight end position. And you look at some of the numbers last year, Jimmy Graham in New Orleans, 99 receptions. Rob Gronkowski with the Patriots, 90 receptions, led the league with 17 touchdowns. And there's one of the all-time greats.
Well, I think when it's all said and done, maybe the greatest. You know, he's going to have every receiving record that a tight end can have. And, you know, he is old school, because Tony Gonzalez said, you know, he loves to watch the evolution of the position, but he wants these guys to be able to put their hand down and block a defensive end. He wants to be able to be the point of attack blocker on an outside run, and those are the guys that he looks at. He mentioned Jason Witten in Dallas as being one of those guys. He said Jimmy Graham is really working at it.
Penalty remains 3rd down.
Likes Rob Gronkowski up in the Patriots, and you want to talk about a crazy draft class of tight ends that have come out and kind of revolutionized the NFL. You know, it's that 2010 class that came out, and there's Jermaine Gresham, actually missed his senior season, comes out in 2010, Rob Gronkowski, Jimmy Graham, and then Aaron Hernandez. I mean, it's a phenomenal group, and they're kind of, you know, changing the way that position is being played. And Tony's old school. He wants them to be able to put their hand down, block the line of scrimmage. If you're not a guy who can block, if you're not a tight end that can put your hand down, then he's not including you in his group. You can't just be somebody that flexes the formation and runs down the field.
More penalty flags on 3rd and 12.
Holding, offense number 66, 10 yards from the previous spot, still 3rd down.
That's Peter Kahns, the rookie center, who was shaken up earlier. And Tony Gonzalez told us on Tuesday, I don't even consider you a tight end if you can't block.
Yeah, it's a critical element, and I think it's going to be fun this season, Tony, to watch what teams do with these tight ends. That they are matchup nightmares for the defense when you're talking about a 6'6" guy going down the middle of the field.
Well, it just goes with being one-dimensional, Darryl, and you see that in a lot of positions like the fullback. You got to be able to block. You got to be able to go and catch the ball. You got to be able to run the ball. I mean, the tight end position is there for a big guy that can go and block and catch. And if you take away the blocking aspect of it, I mean, pretty much he's just a wide receiver lined up in a tight end position.
Fair catch called for at the 19-yard line by Marvin Jones. The 12-time Pro Bowler, Tony Gonzalez. College football is coming to Fox each and every week. Join Aaron Andrews, Eddie George, and Joey Harrington as they get you ready for kickoff. Then Heisman Trophy frontrunner Matt Barkley and third-ranked USC take their first step on the road to a national title as they match up with Hawaii. The premiere of college football Saturday on Fox is September 1st at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. Early fourth quarter here in Atlanta. Jack Robinson remains in at quarterback for the Bengals. Hands it off to Herron. And Herron is brought down by the rookie free agent out of Northern Illinois, Pat Schiller. No gain.
Might want to give Pat Schiller some opportunities with some higher groups out here to see what he can do. I've been impressed with him tonight. He's got great instincts. He recognizes things as they develop in the backfield and gets himself into the right spots. So, it's an area where there's a concern here, that middle linebacker spot. So Pat Schiller, maybe he can get some snaps as the preseason wears on with the second team.
2nd and 10. As the catch is made out at the 27-yard line by Bryce Davis. Getting back to Schiller at middle linebacker position. Curtis Lofton, leading tackler last season for the Falcons. He's now in New Orleans. Atlanta brought in Lofa Tatupu. That did not work out. Akeem Dent out with the concussion. So now Schiller getting a look here in the fourth quarter, number 45. Wow. James Devlin, backup fullback, who spent last year on the practice squad, makes the catch, but there is a flag.
Holding, defense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic first down.
It's one of those positions you take for granted. When Curtis Lofton was here, he was very productive at the middle linebacker spot. But here's some of the other things that you have to have from that spot. The ability to communicate from the sideline, to get everybody lined up. I mean, it's critical. Tony, you played with Ray Lewis, one of the best in the business. And, it's when you take the defensive line and then you've got somebody at that linebacker level that can coordinate everything in that front seven. It's a huge deal.
He's the quarterback on the field for the defense. He's got to coordinate what the line is doing, and he's got to coordinate what the secondary is doing. So he's got to know every position on the field. And he's got to know, he's got to also know what the offense is doing, because he has to go and change defenses depending on what the offense shows him. So a lot of teams and defenses.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense number 76, 5-yard penalty, replay first down.
Have an automatic call where they go and see what an offense brings to the line of scrimmage, and then they call a defense based on what they see. So it definitely has to be a guy who knows exactly what's going on.
That was the same defense call right there, right? Roll it. Same thing I just called.
That was a dance. That was a dance that we used to do back in the day.
Now it's 1st and 15 as Robinson swings it out to the Dal Hazelton, spent last year on the Bengals practice squad out of the University of Cincinnati.
The other area tonight, Tony, that you expect with all the different ways that training camp is being approached and not a lot of contact and no two-a-days, that maybe some of the physical parts of the game would be a little bit rusty right now, but the tackling's been pretty good this evening.
It has. It shocked me, and that's one of the things I wanted to go and keep an eye on. But I saw, the secondary, Terrence Newman. I wanted to see how those secondary guys were going to come up and tackle, because that's one thing when you're not in pads. And you know, both of these coaches, you know, like a tackle just like that. Both of these coaches, I know Marvin, I know Mike very well. They don't like being in pads, and that's one thing that can get away from you is the tackling when you get out of pads for a long time. And the way that the new agreement reads is these guys, you know, are not going to be in pads probably after this week.
Tackle on that last play made by Darren Walls, the second-year corner out of Notre Dame. 3rd down and 6. Robinson can't find anyone downfield, but he picks up the first down with his legs. Out to the 49-yard line.
He better learn how to slide too. These young guys think that they're you know, out there in college a little bit. You know, you get pressure like this, and all of a sudden you decide you're going to tuck the ball and run. Well, if you see one of those defenders right about there, that's when you go and slide, because that is not something you want to do, is lower your head and get hurt.
No, and one of the things I have to understand, that's Elijah Joseph, number 70, coming back from the defensive line. At the NFL level, you've got defensive linemen that can get 10, 15 yards downfield and put a hit on you.
Yeah, and catch it from behind, too.
And now Robinson over the middle to a wide-open Orson Charles, rookie out of Georgia, 4th-round draft pick by the Bengals, and Charles picks up 20.
Orson, he covered the ball up pretty good after this catch. Huh? He didn't think, he thought somebody was around him, but nobody was even close.
He's waiting on the hit right there.
That's a way to protect yourself, though.
So a new set of downs for the Bengals from the Falcons 31. An 11-yard run, then a 20-yard pass by Robinson. And now movement prior to the snap.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense number 60, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
That's on Otis Hudson. Goose, take me back to 1990, your rookie season with the Colts, as we are now in week 2 of the preseason and the battle for roster spots. You were not drafted. You went to camp as a free agent. What was your mindset in the 4th quarter of preseason game number 2?
Listen, I played like every down while I was in the Super Bowl, and that's how you have to play. You got to go and you know, Moose touched on it earlier, is you know, you have to have the coaches tell you to cut back and stop and slow down, because you just have to go and show them you have an unbelievable motor and you just want to go and do anything to make the team. And you know, a lot of people don't know this, and my book will be coming out pretty soon there, September 4th.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, I actually made the team by being a long snapper. So anytime that the coach came out and asked, you know, can anybody do this, I would raise my hand and try anything. And you know, I learned at midnight, my brother on the phone, and he taught me, you know, he spoke to me over the phone, and I started long snapping, telling everybody that I was a long snapper, and that's actually how I made Indianapolis Colts.
Jordan Brooks, 2nd and 13. So 1990, Tony Siragusa's rookie season. It was Darryl Johnston's second season with the Dallas Cowboys.
Svelte, and that's not wearing Spanx either. That was real stuff.
Speaking of mullets.
Hey, that's the original Joe Dirt right there. Look at him. Oh my God, Kenny.
Kenny Dirt.
You were hot.
Coming from you, that's a huge compliment. I was not working on my long snapping back then on midnight phone calls from my brother. Penalty marker.
Tony Gonzalez.
3rd down and 10.
Tony Gonzalez is standing right next to me, Kenny, and he was overwhelmed by that picture. What'd you think, Tony?
A little scary, but he looks good. Looks good.
Not bad, right?
Not bad at all.
You know, Darryl too. Darryl had the jet black hair. And where were you in 1990?
Well, I was going into high school.
Yeah. In high school.
Oh my God! Don't do that to us. God, now I feel old.
You're telling me I'm the oldest guy on this team. The oldest guy on this team. So I don't know. I've been around for a while. It's good stuff.
So Darryl was talking a little bit earlier about the tight end position and how you described it, and how you know, you really don't have, I don't know if it's a lack of respect, but you really don't consider guys tight ends if they don't put their hands down on the ground. And I totally agree with you. But to tell us a little bit more about, you know, some of the things that you feel about the tight end position.
When you look at it right now, I mean, the guys that are coming into the league, you're seeing a lot of these fast receiving type guys, and a lot of these pro offenses are going to that type of guy, but they don't know how to block. In fact, they almost have no clue how to block because they don't do that when they're in college. And I'm kind of a throwback, call me a romantic about the position. It's a dual position as far as I'm concerned. You have to be able to block as well as catch, because that's just the way I grew up. That's the way I learned it when I tried out for it. My freshman year in football, I played tight end, and they said you got to block power, and then you got to go out and catch balls as well.
Yeah, well, the tackle next to you, all of a sudden the tight end lines up and he knows you can't block. Sort of puts him on an island on both sides of the ball, on both sides of the line of scrimmage. I tell you what, I totally agree with you. I'm a throwback kind of guy, a tight end. You always had to fear that guy. They were always the best holders. They'd always get like right in here and just lock up, And,
well, we're good athletes. That's
athletes.
Yeah, but I also at the same time, I think what you're looking at when these guys do come into the league, you're seeing a lot of good blocking tight ends, but they can't catch, because I think it's just become so divided at the college level. It's either the guys, it's no longer a dual position. It's the guy, either he's a receiver, or he's just a big wide tight end, and then he has no clue what to do in the receiving game, because I see him all the time, guys that come into camp, they can block really well, but then they can't catch, or they can catch really well, but they can't block. So
now, did you get to watch Cincinnati at all today, Gresham? What do you think about him as a tight end?
Oh, I think he's one of the good ones. I think he's one of those guys that can handle both responsibilities. Gronkowski is another one of the old school guys. I think this guy like Jason Witten, the guy in San Francisco, he can do a great job too. So it's still out there, but I like I said before, I hate to see the position lose that integrity. I don't care what direction the offenses are going.
So pretty much what you want to do after you're done, and we're not saying that this is your last year. I know it's only 95%. You told the guys, but it seems like you got a lot of knowledge inside of you. Coaching maybe in your future.
Coaching? Are you kidding me?
They asked me that. I had to throw it at you.
Absolutely not. No way. If you want to figure out a way to waste your time, then go ahead and be coach. As far as
not have a family life. Your wife hates you because you never see her.
Oh, there's no way. I feel like I've already put my time in the NFL as far as that goes. Maybe I'll be standing next to you.
There's plenty of room down here, man. I'm gonna put another TV. The guys up in the booth will be a little jealous, as they are, But that's great. How do you think the game went today for you guys?
I think it went well. Obviously, we got to work on finishing down in the red zone. We didn't get a chance to score down there. Me and Matt kind of had a little trouble hooking up on a route that was pretty much wide open, but I didn't get my head turned around quick enough. But, I like the direction where we're going. This on paper, as far as I'm concerned, This is the best team that I've ever played on paper, which doesn't mean anything. But we got to take it one game at a time, and we got a hell of a football team, and things are looking good for us.
All right, well, hang out here. We're going to go to commercial in a little while, but I want to ask you a couple more questions.
Sure.
We got the time.
All right, thanks, Tony and Tony. Jordan Brooks, rookie out of Morgan State, up in the Baltimore area, as the Bengals drive 81 yards on 12 plays. Brooks into the end zone. Siragusa and Gonzalez when we return. Don't miss the biggest event of the season. It's Fox Fantasy Football. Easy league setup, Fox Fantasy Insider info. Always free to play. Sign up today at foxsports.com/fantasy. Now, if you've had Tony Gonzalez on your fantasy team over the last 16 years, you've probably been a winner.
Done pretty darn good. Pretty darn good. Who would your first pick be this year, Kenny? You got the first pick of the fantasy draft. They call Kenny Albert's name. Who are you going with?
Wow. Can I have a couple of minutes to think about it?
Absolutely not. You're on the clock right now.
Come on, Kenny.
It's easy.
I'll trade my pick to you. For 2 second-rounders. James Rodgers on the return. It's easy. Who is it? Who would it be?
I think you got to go Calvin Johnson, right? The receiver position.
Megatron? What do you think, Tony?
There you go. Well,
Matt Ryan, perhaps?
Matt Ryan? I don't know. I'll take Matt. Why wouldn't I?
Back in Atlanta, 5:38 remaining fourth quarter. Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa, and Tony Gonzalez, who was 14 years of age back in 1990. Unfortunately, we do not have a picture of Tony from his days at Huntington Beach High School.
Haven't changed too much, though. I don't think so.
You look the same, Tom?
I actually had the Gumby fade back then. You remember
with
those
the lines? Did you have the lines?
I had a couple lines. Yeah. I was looking sweet.
It works. It works for some of us.
No mullet, I guess. Dominique Davis now in at quarterback, His first pass is caught by Lamar Brown, who breaks free. Tony, tell me a little bit about Dominique, rookie out of East Carolina, who actually spent his freshman season with Matt Ryan at Boston College.
I have been pleasantly surprised with him. He's got a great arm. Obviously, he can move around in that pocket really well, and he's picking up the offense. You know, he had the whole offseason to do it, but he's coming to camp looking really, really strong. He's pushing, making a big push for that third quarterback on the team, maybe even second.
Penalty marker as Davis is out of bounds at the 48.
We were having a nice discussion, me and Tony, during the break there, guys. And Darryl, you could chime in at any time, but Tony was talking about, you know, when you think, you know, this might be the last year, you start enjoying it a little bit more. And I was telling him about the little things that you miss. Because in this sport that we've chosen, you know, you play it for, you know, me 12 years and 10 years, however long you play for a long time. And all the little things, just putting your helmet on, or you know the way you put your shoulder pads on, those things you never get to do again. And you know it's pretty crazy how it just comes to a definite end, and you never get to do those things again. It's something that you miss.
Yeah, and obviously I've talked to guys like you, I've talked to guys like Warren Moon, and you know, that's one thing that I'm making a focus for myself this year, is to come out here and really, really enjoy it. Last night, before Coach Smitty asked me to talk to the team, and I have never done that in my whole career. And before, I probably would have shied away from it. I don't know why. I have no problem speaking in front of crowds, but I've never ever addressed my team as a whole. So it was, but I jumped at the chance, and I loved it. And I was so glad that I was able to share my thoughts on what the season, what to expect, my expectations, and going forward, how good of a team we can be. And it was great. It was great. It's stuff like that I'm really just going to enjoy this whole season.
That's one thing, man. You got to pass on that knowledge. I mean, you've been playing this game. I mean, at the level that you've been playing is unbelievable. But, you know, every little thing, just the way you catch the ball, I mean, people don't know all those little things make you. And if you could pass them on to somebody else and make them a little bit better, I mean, it's great.
Yep, I think that's what it's all about, honestly. Just kind of passing the torch.
And, Tony, if there's anything about the game that you don't know, but you might want to learn, Tony's book's coming out in a couple of weeks.
Oh. Yeah, I got a book coming out. And I have your book. I have your diet book that you gave me. I don't know why you gave me a diet book, but no, nutrition and, you know.
Well, you look good.
Yeah,
Tony.
I feel
There's no doubt
good,
about
from
that.
your book.
I think about 3-4 years ago, I mean, how much you look
Yeah, I was a little bit bigger than I am now. Yeah. The problem was one time I was really hungry, and the only thing in the refrigerator was a big thing of yeast. And I ate that, and I slept next to the radiator, and I swelled up, and it was tough getting back down. You know?
Yeah, well.
So, thanks for being here, man. I really appreciate it. Have a great season, and hopefully we'll see you during the season.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Tony.
Thanks.
Tony Gonzalez, 36 years of age, 16th season. Still looking for that elusive first playoff win. As Davis fires downfield, and the catch is made by Marcus Jackson. And how about the praise from Tony Gonzalez? He told us that Davis perhaps not only looking to earn that third quarterback spot, but maybe even number 2.
Well, we watched him at practice on Tuesday, and we were all impressed with him. So, you know, Tony's been there the whole time and equally impressed. And again, the big thing is his knowledge and picking up the system as quickly as he has. That's the key. And you know, again, it's one of those critical parts of a team, your number 2 quarterback. Because these guys are so big, it's such a physical game, the collisions are becoming so violent that, you know, you could lose that quarterback at any time, whether it's 1 week, a couple of weeks, or for a larger portion of the season. And that number 2 quarterback spot is always taken for granted until you have to tap into it, and you got your fingers crossed that you've got the right guy from camp.
During his junior college days, Davis went head-to-head with Cam Newton in the junior college national championship game, and it came down to a punt return for Cam Newton's squad. But Davis looking impressive, 15-yard completion for another Falcons first down. As we mentioned, he began his collegiate career at Boston College as a redshirt freshman. Matt Ryan's senior year, and now they are together here in Atlanta.
Interesting, the path that life takes you down. Circles all the way back, and their teammates again down here in Atlanta, and hopefully Dominic hoping that it's for an extended period of time.
From the 24 on first down, Davis with time Can't find anybody downfield. Now he backpedals and throws, and the pass is caught. Nice work by Davis extending the play, and then Lamar Brown, the rookie out of Mankato, up in Minnesota, 12 yards, and there's a flag at the end of the play.
Dominique Davis is making very good decisions right now. Earlier in this drive, as the play broke down, he scrambled around and then reset his feet back in the pocket to make a throw. On that last play.
Illegal contact, defense number 37. That penalty is declined. First down.
You know, it's just a smart play. You know, if you've got everybody moving up on you, drift back, use your athletic ability. Allow your receiver to break open.
Remember when Matt Ryan started the game 11 for 11? Well, Dominique Davis is 7 of 7. First and 10 from the Bengals' 12-yard line. Davis remains perfect. This is James Rodgers. Gain of 5 down to the 7. Davis has a brother who played in the NFL, Desmond Clark, former tight end with the Bears. Davis looking to earn a spot here in Atlanta. And his first incompletion is off the hands of Marcus Jackson.
And as we talked about Pat Schiller on the defense playing the middle linebacker spot, maybe having the opportunity to get some reps with a higher group, maybe the same will be true of Dominique Davis as the preseason gets into week 3, week 4. And maybe he gets the opportunity to move up ahead of Chris Redman and John Parker Wilson and take some snaps with the groups that are up above him, get him some experience at that time during the game.
Falcons' final 2 preseason games will be on the road at Miami, at Jacksonville. Davis, end zone, and a diving catch is made by Lamar Brown for a Falcons touchdown.
Well, you can tell that Dominique Davis and Lamar Brown have practiced together quite a bit during the course of preseason camp because they've got some nice chemistry built between the two of them.
So Davis with his first touchdown pass here in the preseason, and now the Falcons will go for 2 to try and pull to within 3. From the 2-yard line. Davis for the end zone, and it is broken up. Nice play by T.J. Heath, released by the Jaguars a couple of weeks back. So it's a 5-point game with just over 2 minutes remaining. So if the Bengals leading by 5, is your fantasy football legit? Sign up for the official NFL Fantasy Football League only on NFL.com with free live scoring and instant video highlights. Go legit. Sign up for free at NFL.com/fantasy. So you would go with Calvin Johnson?
I think so. I guess the theory today with him is to go with the wide receiver first, right? That's what most of the guys do. They kind of stack up out there.
If you go with the quarterback, probably can't go wrong with Drew Brees or Tom Brady. You know, you look around the league, and when we spoke with Mike Nolan, Falcons defensive coordinator, he said, 10, 15 years ago, there were probably 6 teams with top-notch quarterbacks. Now there are probably 14, 15, 16. And you look at the numbers last year, 20 quarterbacks. So there's Mike Nolan in the middle. 20 different quarterbacks in the NFL threw for at least 3,000 yards. Brees, Brady, and Matthew Stafford threw for over 5,000. Prior to last season, it had been done only twice in history by Dan Marino and Drew Brees. 3 quarterbacks last year passed for over 5,000 yards.
Yeah, and Eli Manning finished with 4,933, so he's only 67 away. And you know, you got to play. Yeah, I mean, you can stretch this as much as you want, but Aaron Rodgers in 15 games had 4,643. Matt Flynn throws for 480 against Detroit that last game. Now, you can say if that's Aaron Rodgers in that game and he throws for the 480, I mean, you were on the cusp of having 5 guys go over 5,000 yards.
3,000 used to be the landmark, and last year 20 quarterbacks hit 3,000 yards.
It's the old 1,000-yard rushing mark for the running back. You know, I don't think a 1,000-yard season for a running back is what it used to be. You know, when you're talking about a 16-game schedule, it's not as impressive as it once was. I think the 3,000-yard season for the quarterback has gone the same way. And but where do you take it? When does that great season by a running back or a quarterback start? Is it 1,250 yards rushing that becomes a great season? Is it 4,000 yards now for a quarterback to have an impressive season total of yardage?
There were 10 quarterbacks who threw for 4,000 last year. Tyler Hansen now in at quarterback for the Bengals as he hands off to Brown. Hansen, a rookie free agent out of Colorado, 4th Bengals quarterback of the night, as we hit the 2-minute warning here in Atlanta. Coming up after the game, stay tuned for the DirecTV post-game show following the Falcons and the Bengals. You know, had the Falcons been successful with that 2-point conversion, it would have been a 3-point game. We could have been staring at overtime, and Mike Pereira is downstairs with Goose. And Mike, this season, the new overtime rules that we saw in effect twice in the postseason last year, now in effect in both the preseason and the regular season in the National Football League.
Yeah, you knew it would come, and essentially in overtime now you cannot win on the first possession with a field goal. If you score a touchdown, you win. If the defense actually creates a safety on the first possession, you win. But overtime's going to go on. Now, the only difference between postseason and regular season is one 15-minute period only. So if it's still tied after a 15-minute period, it stays tied, and each team gets 2 timeouts. But it's good to essentially have the overtime the same in the postseason and regular season.
And last year, Mike, in the postseason, we saw 2 overtime periods. Tim Tebow, the 80-yard touchdown pass on the first play from scrimmage against Pittsburgh, and then Giants and 49ers in the NFC Championship game.
Right. You know, the other thing, Goose, too, is I think the biggest rule change is in instant replay. And you know, last year they took all scoring plays, and coaches couldn't challenge it. All plays that were ruled to score, they left it up to the replay official upstairs to decide whether or not it needed to be reviewed. And the league was really happy with that. You know, it didn't add time to game. It took the responsibilities off of a coach to challenge. And now really they've done the same thing on turnover.
Really? You know, one question I get a lot, Mike, and I wanted to ask you about was, you know, a lot of people ask me about hands to the face. Like, when is that called a penalty? Can you tell me or show me a little bit about the hands to the face, and maybe you can, you know, describe it to the people who are always asking me this question?
Well, I mean, this may be a setup, but
you know,
no,
it's not a setup.
It is clearly the most misunderstood rule. All they have to do is follow my Twitter line, and nobody understands what it is. But in reality, it's really the same for both teams when it's a tackler or the runner. If I'm a runner, I can actually put my open hand in your face, and it's not a foul on the face mask. Can't grab it and twist your head, but I can put an open hand or even grasp it and let it go, not a foul. If I'm a runner, stiff arm. And the defender can do the exact same thing when he's trying to make the tackle. He also can put his hand on the face.
So if I'm chasing the guy out of bounds, I can go and smash him in the face.
You can't, no, don't say smash. You can't deliver a blow, but you can put your hand on it as long as you don't grasp it and twist it. So those rules are the same. Now, in interior play, you've got illegal. Either offense or defense, your hand slides here, and you know you get the head back here. Now your hand has to come right off, and the whole rule is that if you get the hand up there, you got to keep it pinned back. And if I do that, then I got pretty good control over you. So that's a foul if it's prolonged. And then really.
You know, I don't like if the hand's here and it goes around like the neck. You start doing like that kind of thing. Is that really considered or no?
No, that's a foul. But then the other thing on the outside against an eligible receiver, That's the real difference too, because if I'm a defender and you're an eligible receiver, I can't go to your head, period. So I can't start here and hit you like that.
Right,
That's an actual foul right away.
That.
You know, I got to turn the head a little bit.
But I can't now the forearm shiver.
Let me
go over that.
No, that's not. No, we're talking about illegal hands.
So no hands to the face, but you can go and give the forehand shiver.
Mike, take off the headset and run as fast as you possibly can. By the way, Goose this morning at our production meeting was flagged for hands to the face twice.
Yes, he was. Goose,
stop crying.
Hey,
go to my Twitter. Don't worry about his Twitter. Go to my Twitter.
I'm still a little bit confused on the forcible and non-forcible blow to the quarterback's head.
Well, no, look, this is pretty simple, too.
No, I want to see Tony's demonstration.
You don't want Tony to demonstrate.
How about with the crown of the head? Stand right there. Stand right there.
No.
Now, listen, if I come through the line of scrimmage, right, and I'm coming down, right, and all of a sudden now if I come running, right, and I can't put my head down.
You cannot hit me with the crown of your helmet, period, whether you hit me here or here or here. I'm a passer. I'm defenseless, one of the 9 defenseless players. So you can't lead with the crown of your helmet and make contact anywhere on my body.
Okay. All right. This is good. This is good, Mike.
This is great. A lot of fun. We'll do it again next year.
All right, with 65 seconds remaining, the show and tell portion of the telecast has come to an end with the Bengals leading the Falcons by 5. Great job by our entire crew tonight, led by our producer Barry Landis, director Brian Lilly, associate directors Eric Mandia and Joe Williams, broadcast associate Paul Marmero. Our technical producer is Dave Hill. We have been joined by really a cast of thousands tonight here in Atlanta. Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa, Kurt Menefee, Mike Pereira, Keith Evans, and Tony Gonzalez, as that pass from Dominique Davis was intended for James Rodgers.
He has had some nice throws on the last 2 attempts. You know, some difficult areas to place that ball. That's as good as it gets. They got to finish.
And then the hit from Robert Sands at the end of the play, second-year safety out of West Virginia.
I expect Dominique Davis to get some more reps with the group above him. He's played well in his opportunity here tonight. You can see why Tony Gonzalez was impressed with him during practice.
As we were. 4th down and 4. 58 seconds on the clock. As Davis throws and extends the drive. It's a first down. Dennis Stafford gains 12. Rookie out of Toledo, Ohio native. With 40 seconds remaining. Falcons out of timeouts. Davis throws, and this time it could not be handled by Stafford.
He's given everybody chances on the outside. He's had some drops. Got him right in the face mask.
Dominique Davis now 11 of 15. 4th Falcons quarterback here tonight. There's the starter, Matt Ryan, who went 18 of 21 with a touchdown. Half minute to play here in Atlanta. Davis takes off, heads to the sidelines, and has a Falcons first down out of bounds at the 35-yard line.
That's illegal, and that has always been illegal. That's not new. That's been around for quite some time.
That's
now.
Illegal even off the field.
Yes. Tony gets flagged for that quite a few times during the course of the weekend.
Mike Smith, Falcons head coach. As we mentioned earlier, Mike Smith, Marvin Lewis, both coaches under Brian Billick with the Ravens back in 2000, along with Tony Siragusa as they won Super Bowl 35. Davis fires downfield, and that pass was intended for Tim Toon in the end zone. Chris Lewis-Harris on the coverage.
Chris Lewis-Harris on the coverage down the field, but then also some good safety help over the top. Not the greatest angle in the world as Robert Sands broke on the ball. He undercut it a little bit too far and missed an opportunity for the interception.
So now 19 seconds remaining. Falcons trailing by 5. 3 wide receivers set. Davis on second down. He throws, and that is off the right hand of Stafford, who dropped one moments ago. Unable to make the play. It will be the Ravens hosting the Lions tomorrow night on Fox. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. As you see on our Fox box, upper left-hand corner, no timeouts remaining for the Falcons. Third down and 10. Davis again takes off. And he is close to a first down. As one of the officials stumbled, the head linesman Ed Schmidt. Looks like Davis did pick up the first with 9 seconds remaining.
Mike Zimmer telling everybody to get back into the end zone. You've got 9 seconds left. You've got, what do you think it is, Tony? About 6 seconds to take the shot into the end zone?
Yeah,
when we talk to the coaches,
yep.
Is kind of where so we've definitely got time for 2 shots into the end zone here. So Mike Zimmer is telling all his guys to get back along the goal line. We can rally up and make the tackle.
Get back close to where Goose is standing, about 2 yards deep, just behind the end zone. Mike Zimmer would like some of his defenders closer to Goose than the line of scrimmage.
Well, he was waving everybody back, but it's a kind of an easy hand signal to understand, and maybe he wasn't happy that they were getting it, or we'll check
in
this
situation. Defend the sidelines, right? So you can keep that clock moving and let everything be caught in front of you. Secure the tackle. Everyone's got to run to the ball. That's the biggest thing.
Going back and taking a look.
Checking out the spot. Looked like Davis went out of bounds just inside the 26. So Robert Dalton checking out the replay to confirm the spot. Number 91 on the right, Ed Schmidt. He was the official who took a spill at the end of the play and then got up and marked the spot. 9 seconds remaining here in Atlanta. So it will either be 4th and 1 or 1st and 10, which is big considering the time remaining.
Exactly, because it really, you take the shot into the end zone on the 4th and short, because if you throw it quick to try and get out of bounds, you're only going to get that 1 shot into the end zone anyway, so you might as well take it on the 4th down.
But as you said, if it is a first down, you probably give the Falcons 2 shots at the end zone.
So really, the spot of this ball determines whether they get 1 shot into the end zone or 2.
After review, the runner stepped out of bounds on the 26.5 yard line. It will be 4th down and approximately a yard to go. No time be added back to the clock since he went out of bounds. Clock will start on the snap. It will be 4th down.
So it will be 4th and 1 for the Falcons. 9 seconds remaining, trailing the Bengals by 5. Good job by the officials as they move the ball back. Davis out of the shotgun on 4th down. Short throw could not be handled by James Rodgers, and the Bengals will take over on downs with 5 seconds remaining.
He's thrown the ball well with his time in the lineup tonight, and on the critical one, it's catchable. It should have been caught in that situation. When you're talking about a 4th down, James Rodgers needs to make that catch, but could have been given a better ball. But the big thing is, I think James Rodgers is worried about, am I going to get tackled in bounds? And then now we have no timeouts. The clock's going to run anyways. In that situation, I would have liked to have seen Atlanta just take the shot into the end zone. 9 seconds left, 4th and 1. There's too many things that can go wrong trying to get that 1st down. Just take your shot.
So the Cincinnati Bengals win for the 2nd time during this preseason. Falcons fall to 0-2. Bengals over the Falcons 24-19 as former colleagues embrace. And we'll look ahead to preseason game number 3 next week, and then pending cut-down date on August 27th. Matt Ryan outstanding in the first half for the Falcons. Andy Dalton with a 50-yard touchdown pass to A.J. Green. We heard from Mike Pereira, Heath Evans, Tony Gonzalez, Tony Siragusa with hands to the face. Much more coming up. The DirecTV post-game show from the Georgia Dome in Atlanta after these messages.